The Lacrosse Foundation, committed to develop and promote interest in the great American game of lacrosse, presents the Hall of Fame Lacrosse Classic. Featuring the United States Collegiate All-Star Game. Today's game is brought to you by Subaru and the Subaru Legacy, the official car of the 1990 Hall of Fame Lacrosse Classic. By US F&G, great insurance coverage for business, home, auto, and life. By Bud Dry and Winter Distributing, smooth taste, no aftertaste. By STX, the original and best name in the game. By Maryland National Bank, we want you to grow. And by the C. Markley Kelly Jr. Memorial Foundation. Well, the rains have come into Baltimore, Maryland to cool down a very hot and humid day and make the conditions ideal for some of the best lacrosse that this country can offer. Hi, everybody. I'm Lee Felsmo. Tonight, the Collegiate All-Star Game, the best of the college players. I'll be your play-by-play host. Joining me, Ted Bauer, three-time All-America himself, who is chairman of the selection committee for this great game. And, Ted, I think all the years I've seen this game, this may be the most star-studded roster.
Clearly, with the two Gate brothers and John Reese playing on the North team all in the same midfield, you have quite a unit there. Together, they have 665 career points. Leaf, there are college teams that have never scored that many goals before.
All right, we'll be watching for that offensive explosion. Now, to meet these players a little more closely down the field, we'll be joined by Dave Johnson. And Dave, that's the interesting part about this game. We don't really care who wins and loses this particular game. We want the show to be great. It really looks like it will be great. You'll be able to bring us a little closer to these players, introduce us to Gary and Paul, and some of the great players like John Reese.
Well, that's exactly right, Leaf. The pressure's off in this game. It's time to have some fun. And these really are the stars of the fastest game on two legs. And all day long, the kids here at the Lacrosse Classic have been seeking autographs from the players we'll be watching tonight. So I'll be trying to bring you the personalities underneath the helmets.
Okay, all that's coming up. When we come back from this break, we will show you the entire rosters of this star-studded game. It's the U.S. Collegiate All-Star Game from the Hall of Fame Classic in Baltimore, Maryland.
A little brains, a little luck, and a lot of late nights. A good family, a good spot, and some good advice. That's the way it's supposed to be. And USF&G is standing behind me. That's the way it's supposed to be. And USF&G is standing behind me.
There's something new coming to you from Budweiser. Something completely new. It's completely different and completely refreshing. Introducing Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So if you're looking for smooth draft taste and no aftertaste, try Bud Dry.
Investing? Bob taught me the ropes, but he was missing something big. Commission discounts. He picks his own investments, rarely takes his broker's advice, but he was paying full commission. So, market rookie that I am, I tell him how much I save at Charles Schwab, and now he's got Schwab on speed dial. Bob may not need investment advice, but he could sure use help with those chopsticks.
Advantages. We both have Schwab accounts, but I've got the edge. We both have Schwab One, the brokerage account with free checking. Both save on commissions, and both earn income between investments. My old broker charged $80 for an account with checking. At Schwab, we pay SIP. But I've still got Jack beat, because I can find my Schwab checkbook.
For a free Schwab Fact Kit, call toll-free 800-624-3800. That's 800-624-3800.
We give you more ways to succeed.
Welcome back to Homewood Field. Lee Felsmo, Ted Bauer, and Dave Johnson all set to bring you the North-South Collegiate All-Star. What a great year it's been for Division I college athletics in the game of lacrosse. All the way down in the other divisions, the competition has been absolutely first-rate, maybe one of the most special years in that regard in most people's memory. Let's take a look at the star-studded rosters of these two teams, starting in the north. Wearing number 1, Dave Giannone from Hofstra. He'll be in the goal. Also in the goal, number 2, Tony Guido from Yale. Number 3, Jeff Ray, playing attack from Adelphi. Number 4, Bill O'Hanlon, and he will also be playing attack from Cornell. Number 5, Chris Bates, attackman from Dartmouth. Number 6, Randall Frazier from Springfield, will be playing attack. Number 7, Rob Candignato, playing attack from UMass. Number 8, James Mithofer, attackman from New England. Number 9, Robert Santry, attackman from Williams. Number 10, Omar Brown, midi from Amherst. Number 11, Rich Toohey, midi from Brown. Still in the midfield, David Sizing, wearing number 12 from Clarkson. Ben Sangati, number 13 from Cornell in the midfield. Mike DeMaria, a midfielder from Hobart, wearing number 14. Number 15, Tom Corcoran, midi from Ithaca. Number 16, Tim Sudan, a midi from UMass. Number 17, Paul Talmo, a midi from New Hampshire. Now, also in the midfield, number 18, Player of the Year 2 years ago, one of the most dynamic players in the game, Gary Gate from Syracuse. Number 19, his twin brother, Paul Gate, also from Syracuse. And then pairing up, running on the same midfield, we believe, number 20, John Reese, first-team All-America from Yale. Number 21, Rob Studley, rounding out the midfield from Babson. On the defensive end of the field, number 22, Tim Pratt from Adelphi. Number 23, Lars Tiffany, a defenseman from Brown. Number 24, Chris Bentley, a defenseman from Harvard. Number 25, Peter Bennett, a defenseman from Hobart. Number 26, John McCullough, a defenseman from Nazareth. Wearing number 27, Jeffrey Clodson, a defenseman from SUNY Cortland. And number 28, Brian McDonald, a defenseman from Springfield. That's the North squad, and here are the coaches for the North. Walter Alessi, Dom Starzia, and John Donowski from Hofstra. Now let's take a look at the players representing the South. Starting off in the goal, number 1, Quint Kesenick from Johns Hopkins. He'll know this field very well. Number 2, David Linthicum, also playing goal from Towson State. Number 3, John Demento, an attackman from Air Force. Number 4, Josh Dennis, an attackman from Duke. Number 5, Jonathan Dale, an attackman from Franklin and Marshall. Number 6, M.G. Hollingsworth, an attackman from Rutgers. Number 7, Eric Bassett, an attackman from Arizona. Wearing number 8, David Sheritz, an attackman from Salisbury State. Still in the attack and finishing out that position, Tim Harms, number 9 from Washington College. In the midfield, number 10, Norman Wild from Bucknell. Number 11, Brian Kronberger from Loyola. Number 12 in the midfield, Steve Huff from North Carolina. John Lyons, wearing number 13, playing midfield from Penn. Princeton sends a midfielder, John Kenny, number 14. Number 15 is David Dyson, number midi from Roanoke. Number 16, Greg Rinaldi, a midfielder from Rutgers. Number 17, Brian Keith, a midfielder from the Naval Academy. Still in the midfield, Rob Schmaltz, number 18, a midi from Virginia. Number 19, Bob Martino from Washington College. And wearing number 20, John Novak from Lehigh. Number 21, and the last midi on the roster for the South, Colin Mayer from Whittier. All the way from the West Coast. Now the defense. Number 22, John Wiseman from Duke. 23, James DiTomaso from Johns Hopkins. Number 24 in the defensive end of the field, Bill Ralph from the University of Maryland. Number 25, Joseph Bresci, who led North Carolina this year playing defense. Number 26, Mike Warms, defenseman from Ohio Wesleyan. Number 27, Richard Baruch, a defenseman from Penn. And filling out the roster, number 28, Tom Barnes from Princeton. And then the coaching staff, Frank Rotunda, Don Zimmerman from Hopkins, and Doug Locker from Whittier College. Those are the full rosters, and they are finishing getting their introductions here at Homewood Field in Baltimore, Maryland. We're going to take a short break and come back with the opening face-off of the 1990 Hall of Fame Classic. It's the North-South Collegiate All-Star Game. Before STX, lacrosse historically looked like this. Because of STX, lacrosse now looks like this. When it's your turn to make lacrosse history, do it with the original and best equipment in the game, STX.
You through some of the worst weather Mother Nature can dish out. And their sure-footed traction is always a welcome addition in rain and snow. Their durability is legendary, and they continually rank high in customer satisfaction. Shouldn't you demand as much from the car you drive? Test drive a Subaru today.
Factory-to-dealer cash incentives on selected models to qualifying dealers means you could save hundreds on a Subaru.
See the NBA stars of the future when the best high school players from 8 cities across the U.S. gather in Boston for the 1990 Boston Shootout. On June 22nd and 23rd, the action takes place at Boston University's Walter Brown Arena. Then on Sunday, June 24th, the Boston Garden is the site of the championship game. NBA greats Jamar Wilkes, Nate Archibald, and Ernie DiGregorio are just some of the people who'll be coaching these future All-Stars. That's the 1990 Boston Shootout, June 22nd through the 24th, a weekend of great basketball you won't want to miss.
We're back at Homewood Field in Baltimore, Maryland. There are the starting teams. They must flip coins for that. All these players in the rosters are excellent players. And these are the 20 that will start this contest. This is the U.S. Collegiate All-Star Game. I'm Lee Felsbo along with Ted Bauer. Down on the sideline, Dave Johnson. Luckily, it's not raining down there, and he's going to bring some of these players a little tighter to you folks at home, and we'll get to meet some of them. Let's see who's going to start out in white. We know in the north, facing off, number 20, John Reese. And for the South squad, number 15, David Dyson. And Teddy, this guy, John Reese from Yale, first-team All-America, if it hadn't been for the Gates, he may have been the biggest story in lacrosse in the last 10 years.
Well, he's a pretty big story himself as it is. He's got 82 goals this year, which is an NCAA record, broke Gary Gates' record of a few years ago. He lets it fly from anywhere, and he's quite a strong player.
He likes to shoot that high, hard one. He'll go for like about an inch under the pipe. And when he gets the face-off, he normally comes down and gets a shot off it. You'll see that his face-off stats aren't very impressive, except that when he does get them, he usually scores, and that makes him pretty impressive. The ball was not won by the team from the north, but they got it back, so they will control the ball in the first offensive series. Game just underway, and here come the Gate boys. This will be back to Paul. Gary had it initially. Gary wears 18, Paul 19, John Reese 20. What a midfield. Now we see Reese coming out, and a defensive midfielder coming in. It'll be number 22, Tim Pratt for the north. How much strategy, Teddy, will you do in this kind of game? Most Division I schools like to use that long sticks, but of course these guys have only practiced for about an hour together.
Well, Tim Pratt from Adelphi is a very good long stick player, so he's very accustomed to that position. I'm sure he'll be going in a lot today for some of your more offensive-minded midfielders.
They left the Gate boys out there for the show. They can play defense. This is Steve Huff from Carolina trying to take on Gary Gate. Here's Paul putting a little pressure on Brian Keith, great player from Navy. Boy, star-studded all the way through the rosters on these two teams. Huff now trying to get open, hammered by the North defense, and starting in the goal for the South, Quint Kesenick. He gets the ball and fires it up beautifully. Here he comes, Paul Gate, taking out one player, getting it in close, and two passes to the wing. Easy shot out front by Eric Bassett. He passed it up, gave it to Josh Dennis. Teddy, that was pretty unselfish. The ball was right in front. Eric Bassett elected to go ahead and give Josh Dennis the goal, but Bassett will get the assist, 1-0 South. That's the kind of electricity we're generating on the offense.
Yep, I tell you what, one of the things this North team is going to have to adjust to is the Gates have so many deceptive passes. These attackmen are going to have their eyes open and be ready for anything tonight.
And of course, Bassett right in front of the goalie. Looks like Giannone starting off down there in the goal. One more look at it. Giannone gets frozen by the first move by Bassett.
Well, it's Quint in the goal, and you're right, he does get frozen. The ball movement's just a little bit more quicker than he would anticipate.
So the ball comes back up. Let's go back and get the right player scoring the goal then. You're telling me then it was Bill Hanlon scoring? Am I colorblind? North is white, so Hanlon
gets the goal. Rob Condignato gave up the assist. Am I confusing you?
No.
That's right? Yep. I had the wrong
Isn't it?
colors starting out.
Yeah.
You should have slapped me in the head, got me straightened out. North is in white. South is in red. Therefore, Bill O'Hanlon scores from Cornell. Rob Condignato with the assist. It all started with Paul Gate bringing the fast breakdown. And Kesenic absolutely frozen in the goal for the South. Another hard shot coming very early. And that was the South taking a shot. Rob Schmalz, excellent player from the University of Virginia.
Schmalz, very quick player at midfield. Has a nice shot. Is a big part of their offense down at the University of Virginia.
South showing that they can score also.
All right, just see Schmalz faking it right and driving down left and just puts the low bouncer past Gioni.
So Gioni lets one in, as well as Kesenic, and early on in this game, it's a 1-1 ball game. A lot of offense. That's what you might suggest to see as we look at the sideline. These two teams get together. North pushing the ball in. A good hard shot off the pipe. And again, that was O'Hanlon with the shot. And the pipe saved Kesenic. So many weapons on the team from the North. Coming into the game. Corcoran from Ithaca. Here's Corcoran right now. Hard shot. Bounces off the defense, and Kesenic picks it up. So again, to recap, that first goal by O'Hanlon, fed by Rob Condignato. And on the other end of the field, it was Schmalz scoring for the South. 1-1. 12 minutes left in the first quarter. Illegal substitution, Ted. You're going to get a lot of that when these teams don't get to have it more than an hour of practice together.
It's only because they're as good a players as they are that there isn't more confusion out there. Very difficult to get together for just a couple days and play effective lacrosse.
Team in white is the North, trying to feed the crease, putting a lot of pressure in there. The defense very active for the South. Now they come out, get the ball back, looking for help from Kesenic, but he's cut off all the way across the field. And Bill Ralph from Maryland picks up the ball. Bounce pass to James DiTomaso, who played his career on this very same field. This is Johns Hopkins' home field. Tim Harms now trying to get free, and he's really hit pretty hard by Jeff Plodson. You got great defensive players, but they're really being tested tonight with this depth on offense, Ted. That's the key, I think, maybe, that you have 6 guys out there that can do so much, and you never see that during the season.
No, not like this. This is truly a showcase of offensive talent, just about at every position. To see spectacular play.
Josh Dennis, number 4, far side, Duke's All-America player. And a lineup change now as the North changes their midfield, putting in a new lineup. Omar Brown comes in. David Sizing comes in, and Tim Pratt from Adelphi.
You should see Pratt anytime he's in there match up with the best offensive midfielder on the field. In this case, it's Lyons at Penn, an extremely quick player. Was injured a little bit this year, but still put in a pretty strong performance for University of Pennsylvania.
Dennis with the hard shot. The ball goes wide. Must have been a tough year for selection. Chairman of the selection committee, Ted, you must have had one of your toughest years trying to get these squads filled out.
Well, to tell you the truth, it was one that maybe took a little bit longer to become apparent as to the players that were really going to be the key players. But an awful lot of emphasis on the Ivy Leagues this year. A lot of good talent up there with Yale and Princeton units and so forth. And it was a lot of fun, actually, seeing some new teams rise to the top.
Yale, Princeton, Brown, all in the playoffs this year.
And Harvard as well.
Harvard, 4 teams made the top 12. They went into the Division I playoff structure. Here's the team from the North with a hard shot. Kesenic again getting the benefit of a pipe shot.
That was Rob Condignato, a key player for University of Massachusetts this year. He was kind of figured to be the third man on attack, and he really kind of came on very strong and rivaled Jim McAlevey as the premier attackman for the team.
So we're going to let Dave Johnson have a little break down there and get these guys sweaty and let them get used to the field. And second quarter, we get into the game a little bit, or whenever he feels comfortable, we'll get these guys. When the adrenaline dies down, we'll start talking to them. But right now, I'm sure they're a little bit heated up. But just want to let you know that we will be going to the sideline throughout the game, talking to some of these young kids.
Lyon showing his speed.
And he comes in and just whistles the ball right past Gioni from Hofstra. 2-1. South takes the lead. And the Gate boys with John Reese come back on for the North. Hard shot up high is really becoming popular.
Yep, you see Lyons just driving right. As I said before, he's got tremendous speed. He just runs right by his man and lets the high one go.
Right by Omar Brown. Underestimated his speed possibly, and he got that close to Gioni. Really not much Dave Gioni could do if he hit the spot that he was aiming at. No, that's exactly what he did.
He went offside high on that. It was a very nice shot.
2-1 South showing that offensive force, and right away the North puts the offensive midfield of the year possibly on the AstroTurf. That's Gary and Paul Gate, 18 and 19, along with John Reese, number 20. Interesting that they all have the sequential numbers, 18, 19, 20.
Well, that's the numbers they wore during the year, except for Gary Gate. He went out of sequence and went from 22.
There's your hard shot. John Reese, exactly the kind of shot he loves to put in there year in and year out over the last 3 years. This is what he has been absolutely scaring teams with. Teddy did a nice job of looking off that shot. He came right down, looked to the middle of the crease, and then came right across with a hard right-hand shot.
No question. He did it all year long. His team looked to him an awful lot this year, and right now, as you say, he's looking the defenseman off and puts it right by Kesenich.
So just like that, 2-2. I would hate to be a goalie in this game.
I think it's going to be a long evening for all of them.
I tell you, it's an honor to be here, but they've got to think about it twice. You might want to get an ankle injury or something to keep yourself shelled by this great offense. John Reese still in there to face off. You can see he pushed forward trying to get a quick break. Didn't get it. David Dyson picks up the face-off for the South. But just like that, it was taken back. Peter Bennett from Hobart. And now here comes Paul Gate. Tries to go behind his back all the way across to his brother and picked off nicely by David Dyson. That's the danger of that behind the back sometimes. I guess if you know it's coming, it can be a little bit risky. These guys do it so effectively, it's hardly ever a gamble. 9:01 left, first quarter, 2-2 the score, the U.S. Collegiate All-Star game. And this is the best that college lacrosse can offer, and these guys are out here to put on a show. John Reese from Yale gets the ball in middle, and now he comes right down to Paul Gate. Right behind the back, that's the pass he missed moments ago. This one went through. I tell you what, quite a show. I wonder if Cognato knew it was coming. And once again, Paul Gate coming in. Ted, looks like Paul's really pushing to get some offense going.
Yeah, well, that was Gary coming from behind, and he'll try that side frequently, and a lot of times he'll get that dump shot in there.
So the North resets, 2-2 still. Plenty of time left in the first quarter. A lot of offense so far. Right inside to Reese. Took a left-handed shot. You don't see too many left-handed shots come off his stick.
Good look by Cognato.
Hard shot. Kesenich's got it, and here they go. Ball pushed up. Hard shot by Paul Gate. And that is the third goal of the game for the North. They now take a 3-2 lead, and the action is fast and furious. I tell you, when you get the ball down there that low, it's little that you can do to save this. Paul Gate, tremendous player. If he didn't have his brother on the same midfield, Ted, he would be getting so many of the same accolades. He's a tremendous athlete. It starts off with right out here. This is John Reese getting the loose ball. He's going to come back around and look for help, and it ends up over here with Paul Gate. Let's see it move forward. The defense doesn't pick up. He'll come back in and become a threat on the offensive end of the field. This is John Reese. He'll come all the way back in, and this is where he really becomes to be trouble, because the defense has to slide. If you stop right there, you can see that this guy's got to be afraid of him. This guy's got to be afraid of him. He's already lost a step, and these guys are looking to help too. Now you go through and watch the hard shot come. Right there picked up, but it is not picked up cleanly. It bounces out. Now here's Kesenich trying to clear the ball. He loses it out in this area, and then it was picked up by Paul Gate. Hard shot gets him the goal. (3-2), the North leading, and We had a chance to talk down on the field with Dave Johnson, and we messed him up by getting a goal here, but we're going to go down and get some of the guys who are scoring the goals. The North, again, putting a lot of pressure on. Ted, you think you'll see any zone? It's become pretty popular with the colleges. Think it'll show up here tonight?
I would be surprised if we saw too much zone. Zone is a very intricate thing to instill into a team's game plan, and I doubt that they would be very effective with it.
Not very offensive-minded either, and this is more of a show. This is more of the NBA All-Star game, as it were.
I would say, yes.
Ball goes back over to the North. 7 minutes left. 3-2, the North leads. And a timeout on the field. We'll go to a short break and come back. We're halfway through the first quarter. The North leads 3-2. It's a lot of offense so far. That's what we promised. It's a great show coming up. U.S. Collegiate All-Star Game for 1990.
A little brains, a little luck, and a lot of late nights. A good family, a good spot, and some good advice. That's the way it's supposed to be. And USF&G standing behind me. That's the way it's supposed to be. And USF&G standing behind me.
There's something new coming to you from Budweiser. Something smooth, cold, and refreshing. New Bud Dry. Cold filtered for smooth draft taste. And dry brewed for no aftertaste. So if you're looking for a beer with smooth taste and no aftertaste, look no further. Try Bud Dry.
We asked football fans all across America, what's your favorite part of the game? Presenting their answer, NFL's Greatest Hits, an exciting new video cassette from NFL Films and Fox Hills Video. Nearly a solid hour of high-impact collisions that will have you flinching in your seat. The NFL's Greatest Hits is your introductory video to the new official NFL video collection from Time Life Video. From spectacular runs and see how they run, to a field-level view of the action in NFL Playbook, to a wacky trip to the football flip side and the all-new super-duper football follies. And it all begins with the NFL's Greatest Hits for just $14.99 plus shipping and handling. Here's how to order.
To order the NFL's Greatest Hits, use your credit card and call 1-800-247-6800 or send just $14.99 plus $3.23 shipping and handling to NFL's Greatest Hits, Department 41, Box 1322, Buffalo, New York.
Well, did you know that there's a lacrosse magazine that'll keep you up to date with all the lacrosse action in this country? Well, there is. Catch all the action with Lacrosse Magazine, the sports-only feature publication. It's available only to members of the Lacrosse Foundation, the Sports National Development Center. Receive membership information in your free sample issue, of Lacrosse Magazine. Just call the Lacrosse Foundation at 301-235-6882 or write to them, care of the Newton H. White Center here at Homewood, Baltimore, Maryland, 21218. We'll put that up later in the game. You'll see it again. The Lacrosse Foundation can keep you in touch with what's going on in the game. Let's go down to our buddy Dave Johnson. He's got one of the big stars of this game on the field right now.
I believe I'm with one half of the Gate brothers, Gary Gate from the beautiful town of Victoria, British Columbia. And Gary, as you come here to the Lacrosse Classic, you guys are kind of the stars, a lot of adulation from the fans. How do you take that?
Oh, you just got to take it in stride. You know, the fans are great. And, you know, it's beyond any expectations that Paul and I had when we came to the United States. And it's just been great. You can't let it go to your head. Realize that, you know, in these two teams, there's a lot of great college players, and, you know, it's an honor and a privilege to be out here.
Okay, what about your video? You have a video coming out this summer called The Secret of Your Success. What is the secret?
The secret's a lot of hard work and, you know, a few tips we're going to throw in there. It should be a great video.
Okay, well, good luck with the video. Hope it sells a lot.
All right, thank you.
That's Gary Gate of Syracuse University.
All right, Dave, thanks a lot. That is truly one of the big stars of the game. And as we go back to live action, there's a score for the South to knot the game at 3. And it'll be Greg Rinaldi from Rutgers.
Rinaldi had a terrific season this year for Rutgers. He was a first-team All-American. 168 career points at Rutgers, and that's just the type of goal he scores. He'll find himself open down in the crease, and when he gets a shot in there, he rarely misses.
second
Good
shot.
backside look there, and there he is, wide open, the one-on-one.
Way out of position, trying to stop that. Gioni really looking to the backside, really pulled out wide, out of position by the time he got back. Little he could do to stop that shot. 3-3, 6 minutes to go, and you've already met Gary Gait, probably the biggest star this game has had, period. And he's helped a lot by his brother, just two sensational athletes. And Ted, when I think of the secret of their success, I don't know if there's anything you can buy in a video. I think you got to be born 6'2", 200 pounds with great skills, and be able to shoot on a dime from behind your neck. How's that?
I'm sure it'll be a great video to watch. I'm not sure that you can buy it hoping that you're going to be another Gary Gait.
Here comes the South again, putting a lot of pressure on the North. Coming in here, you would have to think that the North would be the team favored if you're going to pick a favorite. Great save by Gioni, and he looks for the outlet pass immediately. Dave, you got somebody else for us?
Yes, Leaf, with me is Greg Rinaldi, who just scored a goal for the South team. And Greg, you're playing with so many all-stars, you really didn't have too much of a chance to practice with these guys. Is it tough to get into the flow of the game?
Well, in the beginning it was, but we've had, 3 or 4 practices, and, everybody's a good player and understands the game, so that makes it a lot easier on all of us.
Now, you're originally from Syracuse, New York, which is getting a lot of attention because of Syracuse University, but that's pretty competitive on a high school level in lacrosse.
Oh, it's real competitive, big crowds. Lots of players from that area do go to Syracuse and schools like that, so, yeah, it's a hotbed right now.
Okay, best of luck to you, Greg. Greg Rinaldi, one of the goal scorers in tonight's game.
Ted, when you look at a guy like Rinaldi, and you, of course, chairman of the selection committee, he looks like such a great athlete. He's strong and powerful, and he has the great, the great shooting skills to go with it.
Well, I tell you, his biggest asset is how he runs the field. He runs like a deer. When he plays for Rutgers, he's in the game an awful lot. They get him out occasionally on the defensive end, but he's a real workhorse for them, and they look to him a lot, and he had an outstanding career, 3-time All-American, 2-time third team, 1-time first team.
And he just scored the last goal. It's 3-3 right now, 4:30 left in the first quarter, and the South getting their offense in gear right now. Number 13 is John Lyons, trying to score against Omar Brown. Shot comes in, picked up by Gioni. He looks for the outlet to Omar Brown, who can't get underneath it. Fast track here on this AstroTurf.
Good job, Randy. Go over, Randy.
AstroTurf being a little more commonplace now, Ted. Most of these players have played on AstroTurf, so that's not too much of a foreign surface for them.
No, and in comparison to, say, a sport like football, lacrosse is really not a bad game to play on AstroTurf. It certainly takes away any sort of foul conditions when it rains and that sort of thing. So it's really a pretty good surface to play on.
Well, tonight's a good example. The field you're looking on about 45 minutes ago was absolutely soaking wet. We had torrential rains for about 45 minutes that really cooled things off, but because of the surface being AstroTurf, this game is really not affected, probably just a little bit more comfortable.
Exactly. It's certainly a lot cooler down there. We've got an extra man situation now for the North, and this is when you do not want to be Quint Kesenich, I can tell you.
Kesenich down there taking that offense, looking, that's starting with Paul Gate over to John Reese. So we pick up the players down the wing. It's Rich Toohey. To the goalie's right. Behind the goal is Bill O'Hanlon. And to the left right there is Gary. Gary gets it back to O'Hanlon again. O'Hanlon from Cornell. All the way out to John Reese. And Reese, that's 2 left-handed shots in a row to a guy who is really likes to favor that right hand. Ted, does that surprise you?
No, he does favor the right hand. He's right-handed, which is evidenced by the fact he faces off. However, he can shoot either hand, and he's one of the type of players when he gets an opening, he's going to let it fly, whether it's right or left-handed.
He got the shot. South turns it away now by being in the box. They are out into an even situation. The penalty is released, but there was a scary moment for Gioni.
It's a good job of clearing the ball by Tom Barnes in Princeton. A very solid, steady player for Princeton this year.
So the North doesn't score in their first extra man opportunity. The score is still tied at 3 as we look at the sideline for the North. And the skies you can see up above clearing. It's still cloudy. I think it's going to be pretty safe as far as rain's concerned for the rest of this game. At least we hope so. A little bit of the slick surface back there, evidenced by Demento falling down. Now John Demento is from the Air Force, and this is a great experience for him playing with this talent out here.
Brian Kronberger.
Kronberger from about a mile away over at Loyola College. This would have to be considered a home game for him. There's a shot in close, and that's a goal. Eric Bassett from Arizona. Do you believe it? What a great thrill for him.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, talk about the Gates and Reese as a midfield. They have the South has a midfield of Brian Kronberger, Brian Keith, and Steve Huff of Carolina. And I'll tell you, in a normal year, in a normal game, that would be one outstanding midfield itself.
That midfield that you talked about, more of the dimensions of the average lacrosse player. This North midfield we keep talking about, Gary and Paul Gate and John Reese, exceptional dimensions. There's your replay of the goal, tremendous goal. And 4-3 lead by Eric Bassett. Here we go, Eric Bassett again, one more time in the crease. He's really left open there.
He's left wide open and makes a real nice recovery after cradling the ball and puts the ball in.
He's finally hit. He really did keep the ball nicely and put it right on the goal, beating Gioni, and gives the lead to his team 4-3. Talking about those dimensions, though, Ted, the dimensions of the first team in the other squad, it's about 6'2", 200, and that is very unusual when you get guys that big that can hit and take hits and still run and shoot like the best offensive players in the league.
Absolutely. John Reese is going to pursue a professional football career.
He was a captain, right? The captain of the Yale squad. Let's go down to Dave Johnson. Dave, you got something for us?
Leaf on the sidelines with me is Bill O'Hanlon, who christened the game with the goal. He's from Cornell University. And Bill, you're also playing with the Gate brothers from Syracuse. What's it like to have them on your side this time?
Well, they're doing a few things I don't expect. It's a nice change, though. I played against them 4 years, the same year I was, so it's always just being beat by them. Now it's nice to play with them and see the things they can do for you.
Cornell out of the Ivy League, that's become a very competitive lacrosse league.
It used to be that Cornell was the only competitive team a while ago, back in the 70s, and now I guess we finished 4th in the league. All the other teams are ahead of us now. It's a really competitive league. I think 4 teams made it to the tournament, so it's getting big.
Well, Bill, best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you very much.
The Ivy League, part of the exciting game of lacrosse of the 90s.
Okay, Dave, you're getting us on the hotbed of the scores down there. O'Hanlon scored the first goal, and while we were talking to him, our new friend Grinaldi went in there and scored again. So it's 5-3 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Grinaldi having a pretty good night, Ted.
Absolutely. It was interesting. O'Hanlon mentioned what we had said before, that he's having a little bit of trouble adjusting to some of the passes that the Gates were making. It's something that can take you by surprise if you're not ready for it.
Rinaldi showcasing some defensive skills. 16 in red. North now needing 2 goals to tie. And pushing the ball inside, trying to find Chris Bates from Dartmouth coming across the crease. The ball goes out of bounds. Bunching up the attack a lot. Everybody trying to get their stick on the ball and nobody really backing up, so the ball goes over to the south. What do you think happens, Ted, when you get that team or a midfield like Paul, Gary Gate, John Reese? Do you think you have a tendency to focus a little bit too much when they're on the field? Give them the ball more than you might.
I tell you, I was talking to Coach Don Zimmerman this afternoon, and he was pretty pleased with the fact that all those guys were playing together. There's only one ball on the field at a time, and they can only hurt you one at a time that way. If you had them running on separate units, it would be like a barrage, one after another.
Well, we'll have to see if that gets changed at all as this game progresses. Right now, 5-3. Zimmerman has his South team leading the North 5-3. A minute 13 left in the first period.
You mentioned before that you thought that maybe the talent edge would go to the North squad. I would agree with that, but that's countered by Coach Zimmerman, and he's known for getting the absolute most out of all of his talent.
No question, one of the best coaches ever in Division I lacrosse. Also, it's a team sport. You got 10 men on the field, and all these guys are good. You play the team game well, and you're going to be right in there.
It's Brian Kronberger.
Kronberger,
look inside.
Beautiful look inside. He hit David Sherritts from Salisbury State. Tried to wrap around behind his back for a shot, but Gioni came up with the big save. Less than a minute now, first quarter. Omar Brown trying to control it. Ball loose again. Time for a shot for the South if they get it up. Here's Rinaldi trying to pick it up for the fast break. Missed it. Looking for help now. He's got Brian Keith out there with him. Gets it all the way across to Kronberger with a hard shot. Bounces off the back. It looked like one of the defensemen. But Kronberger in the Division I championships really showcased himself against Yale. What do you have, 6 goals? I
believe he had 5 goals, I believe. Really came through for Loyola, and boy, the chips were down for them for a while, and that team just hung in there against Yale and came away with an overtime victory.
Ended up in the championship game with the unbeatable Syracuse team, but a great year for Loyola. Now the North and White trying to get another goal to bring themselves back to within 1. They're down 5-3, and the ball missed right in front by Mike DeMaria from Hobart. Pushing it around, 3 seconds left. Everybody trying to get the last shot. They won't get it as the time runs down. 3, 2, 1. That's the end of the first quarter. Both teams now having a chance to get used to each other, and usually in an all-star competition, it takes about a quarter to feel comfortable, and we expect the fireworks really to start going off as the game progresses. Second quarter coming up. Right now, the South leads the North 5-3. Ted Bauer, Dave Johnson, and I will be back. We'll continue our coverage of the U.S. Collegiate All-Star Game.
Before STX, lacrosse historically looked like this. Because of STX, lacrosse now looks like this. When it's your turn to make lacrosse history, do it with the original and best equipment in the game, STX.
A lot of cars reach 60,000 miles, but only 3 have done it in just 19 days. And every one was a Subaru. The durable, reliable four-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. At an average speed of 138 miles an hour, the Legacy hasn't just proven itself. It's taken less time to do it than any other car in the world.
Factory-to-dealer cash incentives on selected models to qualifying dealers means you could save hundreds on a Subaru.
See the NBA stars of the future when the best high school players from 8 cities across the U.S. gather in Boston for the 1990 Boston Shootout. On June 22nd and 23rd, the action takes place at Boston University's Walter Brown Arena. Then on Sunday, June 24th, the Boston Garden is the site of the championship game. NBA greats Jamar Wilkes, Nate Archibald, and Ernie DiGregorio are just some of the people who'll be coaching these future All-Stars. That's the 1990 Boston Shootout, June 22nd through the 24th. A weekend of great basketball you won't want to miss.
Like that skip pass, man. We got the third minis up now. Third minis up. All right, now keep it going. Good job on ground balls. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go, sir.
Well, you talk about intensity. There's Don Zimmerman. This is his home field, and he's probably enjoying this, Ted, having this cast of players. This was a down year for Don's team. He's used to being in that championship game. He didn't quite have the athletes.
There's no question that it's a little frustrating for Don this year, and it's not in any way a reflection on Don. Don is an excellent coach. It's just that we've gotten some parity, I think, through the lacrosse world. Some other programs really building traditions of their own.
So he's enjoying it. The lead, I'm sure, 5-3, and we get set to start the second quarter. The North facing off with Omar Brown. So that first unit, Gate, John Reese, sitting down for the moment. Facing off for the South, number 15, David Dyson. He's been doing that. He's from Roanoke. He faced off, I think, every time so far. Dyson now with the ball. South in red. Ball down, being checked. David Sizing from Clarkson trying to get the ball. But he can't, so Dyson brings it back for the South. Lions. This is John Novak from Lehigh. All the way up top. There's a hard shot and a great save. Shot taken by John Kenny from Princeton.
John Kenny was an honorable mention All-American this year. A very steady player for Princeton. I believe the captain of their team, a real leader.
And Gioni is still in the goal. We'll see how they play their goalies here. Still in the goal for the North, so they'll play them for the first half, it looks like. And Kesnick's still in the goal for the South. So these coaches have decided, I guess, to play their all-star goalies a half each.
That's really the only way to do it. For the goalie to get any sort of tempo at all, they need at least a half the game to play.
Whistle blows, procedure call, possession goes back to the South.
Need a screen on the outside shot.
John Lyons brings it in. You hear Zimmerman yelling, get a screen on the outside shot. He is so technically perfect. His teams are year in and year out, and he doesn't want somebody shooting without the aid of that screen.
Absolutely. Particularly on AstroTurf where a ball has a very true bounce. You need that screening to get an advantage over the goalie.
So here they go. This is the North with a fast break. They've got a chance now to bring it down. Tim Pratt, who asked for it back, slipping on the sideline, can't do it. Candignano comes right back up. Strong play inside, but picked up by Kesnick. Nice move by the defender. Tim Pratt came in, gave the ball up, and they kept going for the fast break. The defenders are so good with the stick, they can do that, and they do it almost all the time now, the good defenders on these top-ranked programs. Ball Ball going to the sideline, out of bounds, 5-3. The South still leads, 13 minutes left, second quarter. Halftime, we've got an interesting thing, Ted. It's new this year. It's called the STX-sponsored Scoop and Shoot. It's like the pass, punt, and kick from the NFL days. Great competition. Balls are placed around the goal, and the kids go out there, and they're all going against the clock, pick up a ball, shoot toward the goal, and the fastest time with the most goals wins. It's really caused a lot of excitement for the young kids, and that'll be halftime.
Got a goal there by Norman Wild of Bucknell. A nice cut.
And the South team looks to be very balanced, Ted. They're getting a lot of, it's hard to focus on because they're playing that team concept, and everybody's getting in the flow of the offense. There it is, going right in behind Gioni. And that hard cut, it's a simple game. You do the basics, as you say many times. You get a good cutting player across the crease.
Pass looking in. As you say, a very simple game, just to pass and go, just to look for a cut.
6-3, and the South really threatening to run away with this game. Here's that first midfield, the marquee midfield. John Reese with the ball. First-team All-America from Yale, running with Gary Gate, Paul Gate. 3 first-team All-Americas. There was one other. You picked 4, don't you, Ted?
Greg Rinaldi was the other. He's on the South squad.
Ball up, buddy pass, likely picked off. Eric Bassett saves his defender from getting smashed. And here goes the South again, all the way across. Good ball movement. When you talk about that as far as these marquee players, here we go. We might see something now. Gary Gate pushing it up. Paul's in front of him. Paul's to his left. He fires it all the way up. Shot. And a goal. Beautiful. Bill O'Hanlon. And that shows you the power of Gary Gate. He fed that on a rope about 25, 30 yards all the way up the field at O'Hanlon.
I'll tell you, it's a kind of a unique style that you have with the Canadian players. You can see Gary Gate coming down the field right here, and he'll take the ball straight from his ear, overhand throw, and get the ball into O'Hanlon, who has suddenly developed a hot hand for the North squad.
6-4. North needed a goal. They got one.
Okay, here's Gate again, as you can see, coming right down the middle. Finds O'Hanlon on the side, and a nice shot, catching it.
And that first midfield stays in there. You think maybe the North guys said, okay, we're putting our marquee midfield back in there, and let's go, boys?
Well, I think it's only a matter of time before you get some sort of play like that out of these guys. You can only hold them in check so long.
David Dyson for the South, player from Roanoke, has been very effective in the face-off against Reese. Timeout's called. Maybe we can go and join one of these huddles and get a little bit more of the inside coaching strategies. We joined the South and John Zimmerman last time. This time, let's go take a peek at the North huddle and see what moves they'll be making to get back in this game. 6-4, they're very close.
Okay, let's try a little something. Gary, you come off, and Timmy Pratt go for him. John stays on there, and Paul stays on there. Everybody lock on. Timmy Pratt, you take the ball. Okay, we start off, everybody. Take your time, Timmy. You're not back in the first second, okay? You guys give yourself a chance to start the check, okay? We get the ball back and go the other way. We come off on the fly. Just take our time on the offense, fellas. Every time we take our time, we wind up with a good shot. Let's get it done right here, guys. Let's go. Let's get one right here, North. Let's go. For Angela, baby. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Ted, what'd you pick up?
That was a good look at Coach Dom Starsia in there. Dom, a very intense coach, a great defenseman himself. He put in Tim Pratt to come in to take the ball when the South team comes out with the ball. Pratt, a great long stick from Adelphi, and has been known to strip the ball from people with regularity. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Leaf, playing defense in an all-star game is going to be a tough assignment. Tim Pratt of Adelphi, how tough is it out there?
Well, it's a little bit tougher in the regular season because everybody out there can catch and throw and beat you in a minute. But, they're up here trying to shine, trying to put the goals in the case. It was just as much of a challenge for us to stop them, like Huffster and Brian from Loyola. They're the big guns to stop. The only ones aren't just the Gates. They got the South got some players, too.
Was there still the nervous tension before the game, or has it just been a lot of fun?
It's been a lot of fun up Thursday and Friday night, but still, it's just game time, so you're going to get nervous. The butterflies are flying, so everybody's up and jittery. Around the second, third quarter, it'll all go, and it's back to game time.
Okay, Tim Pratt of Adelphi, Leaf.
And meanwhile, as we talk about the defensive specialist Tim Pratt, meet him. A penalty on the field. Mike DeMaria wrapped up a player from the South. He'll get called for it. DeMaria is number 14 playing for the North. He's playing against Norman Wild from Bucknell. And watch DeMaria go right up around the neck. Got the stick caught in there, Ted, and that's the danger of using that one hand going up high around the neck. If you got a good roll dodger, you're going to be in trouble.
Any coach will tell you that they don't want you making that sort of move. They want you to play position defense and just stay up with the ball carry.
So the South in a 3-3, they've got all their offensive players are playing 6 against 5 here. They have an extra man.
Look to Rinaldi in the center here, I'm sure.
They try to work it back to David Sherritts, and he was looking to the far side to Josh Dennis, maybe a little bit too quickly. Didn't catch the ball, went out of bounds. So now the North will have it. The South in red will have the extra man so they can pressure everybody on the field. Let's see how speed plays into this clearing. Omar Brown, that's their
Brown,
speedster.
got some good wheels there. It's a nice check by Rinaldi.
Rinaldi just
Keith
wrapped
comes
it
back
right
up with it.
So they'll get the extra man again. Here goes Rinaldi. He's got a fast break situation. White drops back in. Peter Bennett clogged things up, so they had to reset.
Teams are all even again.
Pushing all the way in, trying to go behind the back. Kronberger.
He's open now. There he is.
And he takes that one. Hometown favorite. Played at Loyola, only about a mile away. This is literally a home game for him. Brian Kronberger. Ted, again, the selection committee for All-America had a very tough decision here. This kid, all the qualifications for first team, but he didn't make it this year.
Brian was the 2-time second-team All-American, very strong player from Loyola.
So he gets the shot in the goal, and this is where it starts out. Watch Kronberger right here as they come in. The ball comes in, breaks. Now stop there. Now that he's passed this man gambled, they both lost. Now the shot can go here, can go here. This goalie is in trouble, and there's the shot. Kronberger, tremendous, tremendous. The ball's loose, and it comes back up. Now he is all by himself. Here we go, into him, all by himself. This is where it hits the corner. So when you give him 2 chances, this goalie is in big trouble, and that was why the goal came with relative ease for Kronberger, staying on top of it. Score 8-6, and now we have another score as we do the Super illustration on that particular play. And we'll pick up that one for you in a moment. Score 8-6. South still leads. 5 minutes left in the second period. And Ted, here we go. Ball being pushed up. Now this is the North coming in. There he is.
John Reese.
Big John Reese. Hard shot. If that isn't textbook John Reese. Right-handed. He's got the Mike Tyson look. Plays with no socks. And that hard right-hand shot about an inch below the pipe is the shot he loves to shoot. And he does it very well. You can imagine. What did he have? Was it this year? This year, I think he had 76 goals. Is that it?
John Reese had 82 goals this year.
82 goals all the way through the playoffs. Tremendous offensive talent. That's averaging about 5 goals a game. So Reese, with a textbook score, brings his team back to 8-6. Still 2 goals down. Under 5 minutes left. And everything going according to the book so far. South team in red, playing a team concept on offense. Hard left-handed shot.
Nice shot by David Dyson.
You talked to David Dyson.
Face off and shoot.
And he was being defended out there by Tim Pratt. We've met him too, the long stick midi. Josh Dennis gets it out front. Left-handed shot by Colin Mayer from Whittier. West Coast player.
Look at the speed of Pratt going down the field.
Pratt,
there.
defender, all the way down and takes a shot.
Pratt has to be one of the fastest players on the field.
Midfield changes now. North with the ball. Pratt has the great wheels, and I'll tell you when he comes down, there's Gary Gate trying to shovel it in. He's still open on the crease. Gary asking for the ball. They get it to him. Here he's trouble now. You got to play defense on him. 2 players, and he couldn't get the shot off.
By Baruch.
26. I thought it was Barnes coming in the backside. Here goes Big John Reese. Again, he was the captain and middle linebacker on the Yale team. He's very irritated that he didn't get drafted in the NFL, and he's going on to these mini camps. Believes he can play in the NFL. The book on him is a little too slow for the NFL caliber, but he is a hitter, and he's got a lot of heart. Reese way out front. They didn't elect to give it to him. This is Gary Gate. He'll dive from there. Comes out front under. Right between his legs. When you let him get in front of the goal, it's almost all over. Ted, when he finally beat the plane, the goalie has to be thinking, what direction is it going to come from? It made it look so easy.
Absolutely. Kesenich was totally outfoxed on that, had no idea where Gate was going to shoot.
Gary Gate, right after John Reese scoring, brings the North back to within 1, 8-7. There he is, the most talked about lacrosse player in the last 10 years.
That's
Gary
Jeff
Gate.
Ray with the ball, looking inside, gets it to Gary Gate.
Tell you what.
Brownie from behind comes, drops it right in between the legs and off or past Kesenich's stick on the stick side.
Baruch let him run by him. I was playing his own man. That was a little bit of a mistake. They needed help. When Gary gets a step on you, you better help him out. Better help out the guy who's playing him, that is. So the North steps it up a notch, comes back to within 1, 8-7 with 3 minutes left, second quarter. Here goes another shot by the North, hard shot wide of the 6x6.
It was Rich Toohey took that shot there, an excellent midfielder from Brown. Had 48 goals this year, was a third-team All-American.
So he's playing for his college coach on this All-Star Classic, Tom Starzia. Kesnick now trying to beat 3 players. He's in trouble, gives it off to the wing. A lot of it riding. It looks like the North has stepped up a notch, Ted, to me in the last 3 minutes. 2:40 left, 8-7 the score. South in red with the lead, but 8-7 is virtually a tie game. You can score quickly, especially this caliber of play.
Brian Keith, a nice look inside.
Keith tried to hit Bassett. Working from behind, Jonathan Dale off to the wing. It's Rob Schmaltz playing behind.
Draws the foul.
He's admitting he's really inverting back there.
I tell you, Schmaltz used to play attack, and they switched him to midfield. That's why he feels comfortable back there.
He's got the skills, no question about that. Delayed call, and once the ball hits the ground, the whistle does blow. Don't take away the offensive opportunity for the team. Slash call. So the South will be extra. They'll have an extra man, 6-on-5. They've got a 1-goal lead, 8-7, with 2 minutes left in the second quarter.
I'll tell you, Leif, I like the looks of this South extra man unit. Awful lot of talent in there. I think is as good as any you'll see.
Ted, how you like the 3-3 alignment? That's what they're starting out in.
Well, it's a good alignment for an all-star game. If you have a good point man out front that can work the ball, it's very effective. They're now cutting into a 1-3-2. Got a couple of good shooters with Brian Keith and Brian Kronberger out front. Josh Dennis down on the wing with Tim Horms.
So the South moves the ball around, trying to get pressure all the way back, trying to find Josh Dennis in low. Skipped a man to hit Josh Dennis and lost the ball. That's, again, the danger of that 3-3 alignment. If you make a bad pass, chances are you may lose possession. They're giving the ball to Tim Pratt. We talked to him. We know he has great wheels. So let's see if he uses that speed right here.
You can bet he will.
Beautiful juke move, beats one.
Not a good-looking pass. Horms comes up with it.
Bad pass now.
Good look to Dennis inside. Nice
yes,
shot.
Sir. Dennis gets the score to put the South up by 2, 9-7, with 1:39 left in the second quarter.
Josh Dennis, an excellent attackman from Duke. Didn't have quite the year as a senior he had as a junior, but he had some real injury problems with a bad knee. Obviously playing well tonight. There's the look inside by Horms. He's looking down to Dennis. Gets inside and drops it inside on Giannani.
All right, so there you go, and that's what happens. Here's the inbound. Here's where the play is going to start. And it'll be picked up and go up here for the offense. Let's go and inbound it. The ball will be lost. This man will try to beat everybody. This is Pratt. He comes up here, throws it, oh, that's right, all the way across, intercepted. And then coming in here is where the trouble starts for the North team. The player has the ball here and no defenseman. One here and everybody else is way over the sides. Nobody can get near. So as the ball comes in, you advance it up. And here's where the goalie is really left stranded. When you stop it here, stop now, it's all over. One player with a shot, he's going to go down to the far side, either high or low. Goalie has little or nothing to say about it, but he fakes him out by coming inside the pipe. Protecting the outside is where the goalie gets caught out of place. Josh Dennis with an excellent move. And the South, 9-7.
South's got it inside again.
1:13 left. Clock counting down another pipe shot. Tell you what, the South has had about 5 pipe shots.
They sure have.
Ted, your claim to fame when you played was that high, hard shot, and it was a little more unusual when you played. You were unique. nowadays with the stick and maybe the development of players and the advancement of the stick, there are a lot more of these type of players. And I guess it makes the game a little more interesting.
Well, I think just in the midfield play itself, they've gotten more into the scoring aspect of it, and an outside shot is certainly part of the game.
Josh Dennis scored the last goal. Dave Johnson's with him right now.
Leaf, Josh Dennis, of course, from Duke University in Durham, North Carolina, and it could be argued that first North Carolina brought lacrosse to the South, and now Duke is certainly very successful in the South. They take lacrosse actually seriously in Durham.
Well, they definitely in the South. They pretty much take all the sports seriously down there. It's nice to get some support for a non-revenue sport, especially at a school like Duke, which has such a good athletic department. It's fun to get fans out to games down there, especially in the South. Carolina's always dominated there, so it's nice.
What's it like to play in a game like this?
It's incredible. This is like one of the biggest crowds I've ever played in front of. It's really exciting to be on the same field with a lot of excellent players.
Okay, good luck in the second half, Josh. Josh Dennis.
All right, Josh Dennis just scored the last goal to give his team a 2-goal lead, 9-7. The clock winding down. Less than 15 seconds. If the ball's loose, there could be trouble here, but nobody controls. The South pushes it up. 7 seconds left. I doubt they'll get a shot off. 3-2-1. One last shot and a good save. Kesenic ends the first half with a save and keeps the 2-goal margin for his coach, Don Zimmerman.
Well, Leaf, with me is Dom Starzer from Brown University, coach of the North squad. And you kind of surprised to be down by 2 at the half?
No, they have a good club, and we just got to take a little bit better care of the ball. It seems like whenever we went down on the offensive end and we took care of it and had a good possession, wound up with a good shot. We threw the ball away a couple times, missed some ground balls, and subsequently it's close.
What's it like coaching in a game like this?
It's mostly fun. You can't get too excited about it. You got to let the kids play the game, and you got to understand that they got most of the responsibility for what happens out there, and you try to enjoy yourself and enjoy being around some good people.
How about having Paul and Gary Gate on your side?
It's terrific, and I'll relish the 60 minutes I have out here with them.
Okay, Coach, best of luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Dom Starzer of Brown University, the coach of the North squad.
All right, Dave Johnson, thank you very much. Ted Bauer and I will be back with Dave Johnson, and our halftime will continue at the half. The South leads the North 9-7. It's a star-studded cast in this year's United States Collegiate All-Star Game for lacrosse.
Jerry comes in every Saturday. Last week he wants copper pipe and solder. Now I know Jerry, so I say don't forget to shine the joints before you flux. And he says flux, so I told him to call me if he hit a snag. I think he called 11 times.
Good service is why people choose a place like Evers Hardware Store, and why places like Evers Hardware choose USF&G Insurance and their independent agents.
USF&G is standing behind me.
There's something new coming to you from Budweiser. Something completely new. It's completely different and completely refreshing. Introducing Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So if you're looking for smooth draft taste and no aftertaste, try Bud Dry.
Did you hear about it? A big new baseball video that covers all of the 1980s. It's got everything.
Hi, I'm Jack Brickhouse, and I've just seen one of the best baseball videos ever produced. Baseball in the 80s, new from the Sporting News. An entire decade of headline-making, record-breaking baseball action and excitement. Free with your paid subscription to the Sporting News, America's most authoritative, most complete sports weekly, bringing fans unbeatable baseball coverage for over 100 years. Call now to have the Sporting News delivered right to your mailbox every week at a big 46% saving off the cover price. Plus this full-hour video cassette of the decade, Baseball in the 80s, yours free.
Call 1-800-854-4900. Get your free video with 25 issues of the Sporting News for 3 payments of just $9.96. Save 46% off the cover price. Call now 1-800-854-4900. That's 1-800-854-4900.
We're back at Homewood Field. It's the halftime of the U.S. Collegiate All-Star Game. The score 9-7. Doesn't really matter because it's an exhibition game, north-south. It's the best players that the college game can offer, the graduating seniors, that is. And it's a star-studded cast, 9-7. Right now, the South leading against a North team that really has the bigger stars, the bigger marquee players. The South using that team concept and Coach Don Zimmerman's great teaching to get that lead and hold on to the 2-goal lead. The halftime is very interesting. We want to show you what's going on. This is scoop and shoot, much like the punt, pass, and kick of the NFL. These kids are all going against the clock. These are the finalists. These kids are 6 to 8 years old. The 2 boy finalists, Mike Mann and Brandon Childs, will go around and pick up balls from 6 different positions against the clock, go behind, and shoot at the goal. And, of course, your combined time, along with how many you put into the goal, are tabulated for the final score. This has been really, Ted, a sensational little gimmick for lacrosse. It's great competition. It's got everybody involved. All the teams put in their players. They had playoffs earlier today. These are the finalists, and the kids are really excited.
It's a little bit like the three-point competition at the NBA All-Star Game, where they're shooting from the perimeter and going from spot to spot, just shooting as many balls as possible.
And we got to tell you, this is my nephew, Josh Morrison, out there. Ted, I think he was a little bit tight on that opening 3 balls. Got a little tight and kind of took himself out of the competition.
It's a big crowd, Leaf. You know, that can get to the kid. He's doing a good job now, though.
I tell you, they went through a lot of qualifiers. They went through a lot of qualifiers to get this. You can see he's a little bit mad at himself. He missed the 1 ball, dropped it out of the back of his stick. And you know you have to be almost perfect getting this far. He knew that going against Robert Starkey, he's going to have to be pretty darn perfect. So Josh Morrison, along with all the other kids there, David Ford's coming up, Scott Lair, another great player. That's Ray Lair's kid. Mike Bunning and Dean Samaras, along with a whole host of the female competitors. We're going to be following up and letting you know who wins the competition there on the girls' end. Great competition on both sides of the field. And the girls competing against the girls is much tougher, Ted. If you don't follow lacrosse, let me tell you, these sticks are tough to control the ball. They're not like the men's sticks. They have literally no pocket. You have to be very skilled to be able to control the ball.
Coming from a guy that used to use a fairly large pocket, I'm not quite sure how they do it, Leaf.
I'm not either. I tell you, I go out, my daughter has one of the sticks. I can't throw it around very well at all. They cradle directly in front of their face. It's a little bit different. More of the traditional rules still apply to the women's game. All right, the scoop and shoot continues. And we'd like to take another break. Are we going to do that, I think? And then come back with Roy Simmons. He's a 4-time national champion coach. He's the current national champion coach. 3 tremendous years for Syracuse. Coached the Gate brothers. Actually brought them into this country. We're going to spend a few minutes with Roy Simmons when we come back to the U.S. Collegiate All-Star Game here at Homewood Field.
Before STX, lacrosse historically looked like this. Because of STX, lacrosse now looks like this. When it's your turn to make lacrosse history, do it with the original and best equipment in the game, STX.
Get you through some of the worst weather Mother Nature can dish out. And their sure-footed traction is always a welcome addition in rain and snow. Their durability is legendary, and they continually rank high in customer satisfaction. Shouldn't you demand as much from the car you drive? Test drive a Subaru today.
Factory-to-dealer cash incentives on selected models to qualifying dealers means you could save hundreds on a Subaru.
We're back at Homewood Field. The score 9-7. We're still in the halftime, and I have a very special guest, Roy Simmons Jr., the first coach to ever win 4 national championships. Roy, you've just ended 3 years with one of the most unbelievable teams in the history of the game. I don't think it's even pertinent to argue, are they the best, because the fact is they are one of the best, and nobody would ever knew if they were the best. But nobody can really argue the fact that they are one of the best teams to ever play the game of lacrosse?
I won't argue that. I've been around a couple of years, and I've played on some good teams myself, and I've seen the great Hopkins teams of the 50s and 60s. This is one of the best for sure. It'd be hard to match this team. I think that's what we'll have to look at now. Is there another team coming up that's going to be as good as the 1988, 89, 90 Syracuse team? They were real special. The last 3 years, and I only go back 3 because those are the 3 titles, 40-1, and we lost the 1 game by a goal. So there's something to be said for that, because we have a tough schedule. And, you know, if you go back 4 years, and I only go back 4 years because of Gary and Paul Gate, because they're graduated and important, we went 50-5, and those aren't bad odds.
They're great numbers. When you think back on these 3 years, obviously the numbers are right there. You just mentioned them, tremendous years. But knowing you, I know there's more to your memories of the last 3 years than just the numbers.
Oh, sure. You know, I know I got more from the kids than they got from me. But we've had great experiences all along the way. You know, we've done a little traveling this year. We went to Scotland and England. We hope that we sowed the seed for revision of lacrosse in Scotland. We went to Lockerbie Academy, sadly, to pay our tribute to the Wall of Remembrance, where the 35 students lost their lives in the 103 crash a year ago. But we brought lacrosse equipment, and we brought the message, and we gave a clinic at Lockerbie Academy. And since then, there are 7 Scottish schools playing lacrosse. But to go to England and to Scotland and go through the experiences we went through, playing the English international team and going to Scotland, was a memorable experience. I think it's all part of the lacrosse program or the growing process or the educational experience.
Gary and Paul have done so much with the Syracuse program to raise the level of awareness of lacrosse nationally, internationally, and it's been a great credit to you and your program. Maybe the coup de grace of that whole effort was the invitation you got from the White House. Unprecedented in lacrosse.
Well, real special. You know, we sit back and watch the television from time to time. We see the football, basketball, and soccer teams go to the Rose Garden and be honored by the president. And that's never happened in this game of lacrosse. As close as we are here at Homewood to the Capitol, and as many times as Hopkins has won it, no senator or congressman has thought enough to really light the fire under the president and say, hey, you know, this is a special game. This is truly an American game. And we do have a national championship. And let's honor them also. So Monday, Syracuse, Hobart, Ursinus, and Harvard, the 2 girls teams, will all join George Bush in the White House.
That's a tremendous credit to you and the Syracuse program. I congratulate you again for 3 fantastic years. I know you'll be back sooner or later, back in that championship ring, and I look forward to seeing you there. Roy Simmons.
Goals.
That's the long-term goals, probably the short-term goals. Next year is another year, a new team for Roy Simmons Jr. We'll be back with the second half of this game, showcasing the Gate brothers from Syracuse and all the other great talent in lacrosse from the United States.
This lady came in the other day. Some station downtown told her she needed new brakes and said it'd take 4 days. But you know, she only has the 1 car and she had to get to work. And missing 1 night of TV wasn't going to hurt me. So I told her, sure, I'd stay and get it done.
Good service is why people choose a place like Harlan Motors, and why places like Harlan Motors choose USF&G Insurance and their independent agents.
USF&G is standing behind me.
There's something new coming to you from Budweiser. Something smooth, cold, and refreshing. New Bud Dry. Cold filtered for smooth draft taste, and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So if you're looking for a beer with smooth taste and no aftertaste, look no further. Try Bud Dry.
For the man who really loves his golf, nothing will stand in his way when he wants to play. He'll play anywhere. Trouble, however, can be encountered on any golf course. Hazards like heavy rough. Golf Digest magazine can help. Every golfer wants to improve, but the golfer who improves most reads Golf Digest. For him, sand shots are easy. Golf Digest's instructional articles can even see you through the perils of a water hazard. Your favorite course may be less treacherous than this one, but probably no less demanding. Wherever you play better with Golf Digest.
Get a full year of Golf Digest for $19.77. Call 800-241-6600 now and get our free half-hour instructional video with your paid subscription. Call 800-241-6600 now.
Oh, here the award ceremony for the scoop and shoot. I'm proud to announce Josh Morrison, nephew of mine, and had to get him on there. He won his division, even though he dropped the one ball. Josh Morrison wins against a very tough competition, Robert Starkey, in the 11-12 division. He had 6-8 competition, 9 and 10-year-old, 11, 12-year-old, 13, 14, 15, 16. And these guys, when they win this particular division, along with the ladies who win, the young girls who win, get a stick from STX, and then, of course, a picture taken with Paul and Gary Gate. Quite a thrill. And Teddy, it's quite unusual to see the amount of excitement that Paul and Gary create. It's like the Magic Johnsons and the stars of the NBA, and the thrill the kids have just being around them.
I tell you, the two Gate twins have been tremendous ambassadors to the sport of lacrosse. For someone to be coming, or a couple guys coming from a neighboring country and come in and to rule our own native game as much as they have, and to be the type of individuals and gentlemen that they are, is really something special. We were lucky to experience them here, and fortunate to have gotten to know them.
And now the players will start warming up, and we can get a chance to take a moment to look at the halftime stats and see how that might have any bearing on the first half. Two teams huddling up. Here we go, Ted. As you look down, you see the shots right away. That's the first one that jumps out. The South way out in front. And again, the team concept, they have held the ball a lot longer. That's why the number's so big. Roy Simmons has stayed with us for a while, Roy Simmons Jr. And Roy, when you look down there and actually see the stats and see the first half play, let's just point blank get your reaction to that first half. You saw your guys out there, and they didn't dominate like many people thought they might.
Well, I think it's playing time. You know, both teams are being very fair. They're trying to play everyone. I think if Paul and Gary are out there a little longer, they're running three midfields, and so I think Gary and Paul probably, and John Reese have had about 8-9 minutes, and you can't expect miracles in 8 or 9 minutes, but I think in the second half, they're good under pressure. I know John is, and you know, I've worked with Paul and Gary long enough to know there's a job to be done, and I think they'll get to it.
Roy, Ted was talking about this first midfield. We were just discussing the possibility of, or the fact that Don Zimmerman was a little bit happy that the first midfield line is loaded. You got John Reese out there and both Gate brothers. It sort of takes a little pressure off him because he said there's only one ball, as Ted put it, and you know, you don't have to worry about any more than the one ball and who's carrying it. Would you agree that maybe it'd be better or more dangerous to spread these two guys out, or these three guys, put Reese on another midfield, let him carry that, and let Paul and Gary do their thing?
Well, they're unique in each boy's unique, and Johnny's strong suit is a face-off, of course, and Gary does some facing off, but basically they're very strong on the wings because of their speed to support the center, and that's where John excels. He never gets beat. He doesn't always come up with the ball, but second effort, he certainly does a great job.
Saves the ball from going out of bounds the first face-off. His numbers aren't really that great. We talked about that in the first half. His technique is actually mediocre or worse, but he's just so strong, such a great athlete, that he comes up with those face-offs. And when he does get it, the big number is that he can put the thing in the white net more than anybody else.
Well, he's a good shooter. He's a good outside shooter. He's very dangerous. And he'll, of course, start his offense from crouch position in the middle of the field. He picks it off. If he can get control of it, he'll go right down the middle on you. But he doesn't lose it. If he doesn't come up with complete control of it, he leaves it up to his wing to help him out.
We're talking for a moment with Roy Simmons Jr., defending national champion 3 times in a row and 4 times total. Tremendous success, history-making success over the last 3 years for the Syracuse program. Now here's Reese out front. Didn't get a chance to play him during the regular season, Roy.
Well, no, Yale wasn't a natural opponent, and we thought, and especially with 2 minutes to go in the quarterfinals on Saturday's game when they were up on Loyola by 3, we were going to play Yale, and maybe we'd see Reese versus the Gates. It would have been a great matchup, and now we see them together, and they're truly unique. And great shot, flat shot.
That was Rob Cognato from Massachusetts, Leaf. An excellent shot coming from behind. As I said earlier, he was a big part of their team this year.
So UMass, Teddy, puts the North back to within 1. That's a good start for them. I'm sure they didn't want to get back down by 3.
You see, he comes in and rolls inside, shoots offside, and gets it past Linthicum.
So
here it is again. That's DiTomaso trying to go over his head. Turns and shoots back.
And as you mentioned, number 2 in the goal, David Linthicum from Towson State. 9-8. South still leads, but the North has scored the only goal in the second half. North in white, South in red. I'm Lee Felsmo along with Teddy Bauer, and we're joined for the moment by Roy Simmons Jr., coach of Syracuse. Roy, kind of weird watching your boys run around down there without you. I'm sure you have a little bit of a father instinct. You've coached them for 3 years.
Sure. This is a first for me. And, of course, they're playing with kids they played against. Like the last goal was gotten by a UMass kid. And, he's been somebody to be dealt with.
All right.
There's Gary. He's tough and unselfish, as you see there. Dished it off. And I don't know if he's going to get the assist on that one. It was his second effort. But Gary drew the fire and dished the ball off. And maybe he could have taken a shot from the outside, but that's not the way he thinks.
Rob Conignato got the shot, the goal again, Teddy, and he's putting in some goals down there.
He certainly is. It's a heads-up play here. Ball goes over to O'Hanlon and flips out. He comes up with it.
Looks like he hit the pipe again. We're going to get a lot of pipes on that particular goal. That pipe, you think the pipes on that goal were a foot and a half wide.
It's all part of the equipment, isn't it, Leaf? Those pipes.
Those seem a little bit. They seem like soccer goals in size. We've hit them 8 times in the game. 12:44 left. A lot of time left in the third period. 9-9 though. The North has come out and scored 2 straight goals. Roy, you talked about when it's money time, the gates will be around, and Gary certainly started that little push right there. Got the ball into the offensive end.
Well, I think the North has to be a little more patient. They gave up a possibility of a goal just before that one. The defense was shooting an outside shot, high percentage. There was a 2-goal turnaround just before the halftime also. A lack of patience, man down, clear. They gave it up and cost them a goal. And so maybe this game could be a little more one-sided if the North showed a little more patience.
The call right there was that in the new rules this year, you can't clear it out of your box and then go back into it. That's what the team from the South did. And the ball goes back to the North. Dave Johnson, what do you have on the sideline for us?
Well, Leaf, with me is Brian Keith, talented midfielder from the Naval Academy. And Brian, after graduation, I guess things will be a little bit different for you. What's up for you and your plans?
Right now, I'm on leave right now until July 1st, and then I go hang out at the academy for 6 months, my temporary duty to be in the PE department and help out coaching. And then after that, about December, I'm going to go down to Georgia, Athens, Georgia for Supply Corps School.
A little bit of different activity after graduation. You looking forward to coaching lacrosse?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love the game. I want to stay around it, so it's the best thing I can get for being on duty right now.
That's Brian Keith of Navy, who will be coaching lacrosse before he sets sail for his future.
Teddy, you're on the selection committee, chairman of it. You have a lot of high praise for Brian Keith.
Oh, absolutely. He was a first-team All-American in 1989. This year he was a second-team All-American and certainly up for consideration for first team. Very talented, big, strong fella. Can get by most anybody one-on-one.
Great save by Guido. And he's in the goal for the North. Roy Simmons Jr., this is the guy who gets first-team All-America honors, beating out your sensational goalie, Palin.
Well, he had a great year. You look at the numbers, you look at the stats, you can't deny the fact that it was a great stop. And he played on a wonderful team. And unfortunately, the goal, there's only one position in All-American honors. And unlike the midfield where there's 4 spots, and if you got some kids that are close down to the wire, they can both make it. But in this particular case, Guido edged my boy out, and that's understandable.
Palin, though, certainly won my vote. I thought he had a sensational year. I've talked about it. As you look at the tapes, I think Palin stops more difficult shots than any goalie in the country because of the gambling style of the Syracuse team. And here's the South now pushing up the tempo. Ted, this is the first really organized offense they've had in the first 5 minutes of the third quarter.
Yeah, they need to take advantage of this, too. They need to settle it down. You see Greg Rinaldi putting the hand out to settle it. Let's get the ball behind. Let's work it. They need to get a good shot here with the North having scored the last 2 times they've gotten the ball.
So the South continues to control. Again, the marquee players here, the Gate brothers, along with John Reese. John Reese is a sensational player. I often think, Roy Simmons Jr., that if the Gates weren't playing, what a hero John Reese would have been. What a marketable guy, what a character he is. Look at Don Zimmerman.
Well, you know how close John Reese came to coming to Syracuse?
You've told me that story.
Oh, wow.
You break out into tears every time you tell me.
Yeah, well, I coached his dad, at Syracuse a number of years ago. And we have a deal at Syracuse, which his dad didn't hold. When you play lacrosse at Syracuse, you owe your first-born male child back to the lacrosse program. And that didn't happen.
Well, John Reese is down below with our Dave Johnson right now.
Well, Leaf, John Reese is from Long Island. From the bandana on your head, it must be Southern Long Island. What's the story with the bandana?
Yeah, I guess that's Southern Long Island. Yeah, they breed them a little wacky up there. Yeah, it just must be something in the water. It's just I just really have it on just to have a little fun, add a little bit to it.
82 goals in a season. Must be something in the water there. What was the secret to that?
I guess if you get enough opportunities, they start to go in. I just shoot the ball hard, I guess, for the younger kids out there.
What about your future? Long Island, big club lacrosse area. Would you like to continue playing club lacrosse?
Yeah, I just have to figure out what's going on in my life, see where I'm going to be living, and I definitely want to keep playing. I feel I'm at the top of my game and having a ton of fun. That's John Reese of Yale, who maybe could get an endorsement with a bandana company.
All right, Dave and Ted, just another Yale Bulldog. Say, if he doesn't look just the typical Ivy League player, I don't know who does.
Yale had certainly a terrific year, and he was a big part of it. Him, Guido, and defenseman Brian Martin, all excellent players, all first-team All-Americans.
Wish could have panned down and checked out his socks. He does not play with socks on.
Linthicum come on a clear coming out of the goal. He's drawn a penalty already. We'll see what they get out of it. It's Rinaldi.
Great speed and a nice check from behind. Took the shot away from Rinaldi. 9:55 left in the third period. Offense is starting to crank it up. The North scoring the only 2 goals here in the third period. That's why it's tied. The South had the 2-goal lead going into the half. And I guess they made a little bit of an adjustment, seeing the kind of style that the South was playing, Ted.
Once again, we got this South extra man team out here. We'll see if they can make better use of the penalty than they did last time when they turned the ball over.
Roy, you have a run and gun type offensive philosophy. What is your extra man philosophy?
Well, that's tough to put in a 48-hour span. You really kind of have to freelance it. They have a 3-3 going here. And I don't imagine there's any real formal set to it. They just want to move the ball, get the defense moving, and they'll either redirect or skip a pass and try and find a seam in here. They're moving a man around behind now to 1-3-2, and they'll cut down circulation here. Pretty basic lacrosse, but that's all it really takes.
That's a good move by Josh Dennis. He looked the defender off, came around, ducked inside, and put it past Guida.
Josh Dennis scores the 10th goal for the South, so the South refusing to let the North get in the lead. The North tied it up with 2 goals here in the third, but Josh Dennis put the South team back up by 1.
Here we have it. All right, ball goes back behind to the far side over to Dennis. He'll come driving to the point here, looking the man off, makes his last final step, makes a move, and past Guido.
Tim Pratt just started backing off, expecting the pass. Watch Tim Pratt. He doesn't even get a chance to play him, and that's what Josh Dennis read.
Ball over again from Horms. Down behind, over to Dennis. He's just driving around from the point, looking out front, and then dumping it past Guido.
Jeff Cloudston came sliding from the very far side of the crease. Nobody went in there to pick up Dennis.
It's important for the South to get a goal or 2 on Guido here. He can be extremely hot, and they need to get to him early here.
You know what's common about all these stars down here tonight, Leaf? Josh Dennis and Rinaldi and Brian Keith and well, there's any number of them that aren't on the Syracuse team normally. They're all Central New York boys.
Well, New York is a hotbed for the game. You know, Maryland brags about being the hotbed, but you can't tell any New Yorker that. Yeah. All of the New York hotbeds from upstate New York, Syracuse area, West Genesee has a record that's really unparalleled in the high school ranks. A lot of tremendous players. Down the sideline right now, Dave Johnson with another tremendous player, Rob Schmaltz from the great program south of the border.
Well, Leaf, Rob Schmaltz is originally from Central New Jersey. We were just talking about lacrosse hotbeds. You were telling me Central New Jersey has a lacrosse hotbed there.
Yeah, I tell you, being from Westfield, that division area in there's about 15 real tough teams. And I think every year it's growing because now it starts, I go back home and I see little kids with a stick, which we haven't had any of that in the last 10 years. So now the little kids picking up the sticks, I think we're going to be strong in Central Jersey.
Okay, you play at Wahoo Country down there in Virginia. It's well-supported program at Charlottesville.
It is. We got good crowds. We got a great sports promotion staff that gets everyone involved in it. The community as well as the students there, and it's good to play in front of a home crowd there.
What's it been like playing for Coach Don Zimmer? It must be strange that you have to go under a new coach for the first time.
Yeah, I tell you, he's great. He teaches you a lot of things. He brought us together as a group to come out here and play, and I think it's evident out there that we've come with 2 days of practice. We've come out there and really put things together, and all the credit to him.
Rob Schmaltz of the University of Virginia hopes to have a future in sports marketing.
All right, he certainly has the good bloodlines for lacrosse. Teddy Lee Schmaltz's dad has another son down there at Duke, I believe.
He's also a fine player.
and really putting out some sensational lacrosse players. Lee Schmaltz.
We just saw some good defense by number 24, Bill Ralph of Maryland there against Paul Gate, showing
well,
he
had good defense. If we saw the replay of that, I'm sure Roy would agree with me. He had enough good defense to make Paul mad, and then Paul tied him up so badly that he dropped his stick.
Did you see that check that Gary made? That's one of the strengths of the Gate boys, the defense. Pinpoint passing, but, you know, they're difficult to play with on a one-time basis like this. Gary's right on the money with that last pass, and the boy wasn't ready to accept it. Gary made a beautiful check to bring the ball down the field, dished it off in a very unusual way, backhanded pass, and unexpectedly it wasn't successful.
Tim Pratt all the way down the other end of the field. He's got the great wheels, and he was really tested there, Ted. Had to go 2 full-length sprints to stay in the game. Once on offense, once on defense.
He seems equal to the task. I've seen him play a number of times. He's a pretty in-shape athlete.
So the transition game starts to warm up here in the third period. 7:40 left, 10-9. The South still leads. Here comes Gary Gate. Under, between the legs. And Roy, you talk about you don't know where it's coming from. I'm sure the goalies just sort of clench their teeth and just hope they guess right.
Well, it's a nightmare for a goalie, and he was carrying a stick in his right hand that time. So if he was well scouted by this goalie, the goalie would probably say, well, he's going to come back to his left, and he didn't. He threw it under his legs and camouflaged it, so to speak. The origin of the ball was unique, and the fact that he shot with his right hand was unique, and maybe that's why it wasn't so accurate.
I tell you, Roy, the frightening thing to that was the velocity he had in that shot.
Yeah, the ball moves right along. I think that's helped Matt Palin. And when you saw him in the Final Four, Matt came up with a lot of one-on-one stuffs, and he had the ability to take a fake and take a hard shot, only because he plays against Paul and Gary and Tommy Marichuk, Canadian players, Monday to Friday, and then come Saturday, you know, he looks sensational on that one-on-one stuff.
We're going to take a short break right now. The teams have called a timeout. 7:35 left. 10-9. The South still leads. We're at the United States Collegiate All-Star Game. The best of the USA lacrosse players doing a show for you from Homewood Field.
Before STX, lacrosse historically looked like this. Because of STX, lacrosse now looks like this. When it's your turn to make lacrosse history, do it with the original and best equipment in the game, STX.
A lot of cars reach 60,000 miles, but only 3 have done it in just 19 days. And every one was a Subaru. The durable, reliable 4-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. At an average speed of 138 miles an hour, the Legacy hasn't just proven itself. It's taken less time to do it than any other car in the world. Factory-to-dealer cash incentives on selected models to qualifying dealers means you could save hundreds on a Subaru.
Ain't nothing like a grand slam to make you feel like a real man.
Now on video, Grand Slam. Relive all the excitement of baseball in a bases-loaded celebration of America's dream game.
Probably the best thing that's ever happened in a baseball videotape.
I would have played for nothing, you know. I mean, I just love to play baseball.
I mean, it beats working, believe me.
Hitting a baseball is the hardest single thing to do in sports.
Believe it or not, I guessed about 95% of the time.
A genuine superstar of a tape, a gem of a collectible, flat out marvelous, a baseball lover's dream.
Pitchers are the enemy.
They were always the enemy. I try not to get along with any of them. I just would stay away from them.
I didn't fraternize with them. They're not really people.
They're the dumbest athletes on the field.
To order your collector's copy of Grand Slam, call toll-free 1-800-841-5500. It's your turn at bat for a Grand Slam. Get in on the excitement and call now. That's 1-800-841-5500.
Homewood Field, Johns Hopkins Homewood Field. And this is the site of the Hall of Fame Classic. 7:35 left. This is the Collegiate All-Star Game. We're watching a dynamic first midfield of the North. John Reese, number 20. Paul and Gary Gate, 18 and 19. Paul 19, Gary 18. Here is Gary with the ball. Roy, he's going behind the goal.
Oh, it's dangerous back there. You know, you never know what he's going to do.
Against Rinaldi.
I can't tell you, you know, what practice has been like with this boy. If the public thinks he does some sensational things, he does more unique things.
Whoa.
And that's one of the things he does very well is find his brother. Paul came in on the backside. That easy. When you start getting focus on Gary, all of a sudden he gives it off to Paul, and bingo, the goalie has nothing to say about it, Teddy. The gate combination.
Well, it's telemetry between those two. As you state, you know, he does that very well, looking for his brother.
10-10 the score. That's as close as the North has gotten.
Here we get it here. It's Jeff Ray going for the ball here. Gary comes up with it. Coming this side, just looks off once again. Paul fakes it low and puts it high.
And that's where it all starts. Starts here with Gary having to get to this ball and bring it back to the goal. So go ahead and advance it as he comes out and collects the loose ball. He'll pick it up, and this is where the defense starts worrying now. He's coming behind the goal, and that's where the focus shifts. Look, 3 players chasing him. He'll come in, and now he starts getting tricky. Dishes it off to the far side as he looked to the middle, and hold on right there. Look at Paul looking down, making the goalie get down on his knees, and then he'll come right up above him for the goal. Bingo. Paul and Gary Gate, a ferocious, scary combination. I'm sure a lot of coaches, Roy, as we all know, are very glad to see these guys leave as opponents.
Well, I don't know. That's totally the truth. I think Richie Moran said it the best. You know, Cornell hasn't beat us, and they're a great rival of ours in upstate in 4 years. And somebody said to Richie Moran this year after the Cornell game, aren't you glad to see the boys leave? And he said, hell no. They've done so much for the sport. They're so good for all of us that I wish they could stay. I don't know if he really meant that, but, you know, that's the truth of the matter. They've done as much for the game as they've done for Syracuse University.
Dave Johnson's got another star down on the sidelines. Dave?
Quinn Kesnich, who was the goalie in the first half for the South team, and of course it's an unenviable task to be the last bastion of defense in an all-star game. What was it like playing goalie in this game?
It was a lot of fun. I had a pretty good cast in front of me. A couple, Bill Ralph, Joe Bresci, James DiTomaso, Mike Lawrence, good players. They played well, and we're in this game.
For some of our first-time viewers, they might think that you have to be crazy to get into the cage and play goal. What is the secret to being a successful goalie in lacrosse?
I've been playing it for a long time. Mentally, I think it's one of the safer positions. I mean, I don't like getting hit with the stick. I'm safe inside my crease. I've always played goalie. I like it. It's intense. It's a lot of big mental aspects, and you know, I just enjoy it.
What about playing for Hopkins? The tradition still there?
Yeah, we'll get it back. Hopkins will get it back.
Okay, Quinn Kesnich from Johns Hopkins, who hopes to pursue a career in banking.
Thank you, Dave. And, of course, alluding to we'll get it back, Quinn Kesnich, referring to the 6-4 record Hopkins had this year, which is really like shooting yourself in the leg for this program because they are counted on to be above excellent every year. Teddy, it's kind of tough when you're coaching this team and you're expected to go to the championship game every year.
I'll tell you, an awful lot of pressure for both the players and the coaching staff. And as I said earlier, there's some other programs that have developed quite a good tradition of their own, and it gets tougher every year to compete in terms of recruiting the top players.
And Roy, I don't know if I've ever talked to you personally as much as I've seen you over the last year, but you know, I have nothing but great things to say about what Zimmerman and Hopkins did to match you stride for stride, shot for shot, and take you down to the last shot in last year's championship game when they were seriously overmatched man for man.
Yes, they were. And even though they beat us, and that's the one loss we've had in 3 years by a goal here.
I'm talking about the championship game.
In the championship, when it came down to the championship, they realized that we were a little different team late in the year, and they had to make some adjustments. And they made them beautifully. They made some sacrifices, putting a defenseman up on the wing and trying to shut Gary off. That meant they had a hole back on close defense, and they made some adjustments that really paid off for them. And they had us by 3 goals in the 4th period, and it was all a game plan that got them into that situation. But we got out of it, luckily, and we threw in the last one. They didn't.
That was one of the best games ever played, according to many folks. I have to rank it right up there. Hopkins taking Syracuse down to the wire in last year's, not this year's. Oh, hard shot.
Great shot by Timmy Horms of Washington College, named the outstanding attackman in Division III at today's All-American banquet. You can see there in this photo here why. Horms driving left here.
Going against Chris Bentley of Harvard.
Rolls back right and puts it in high over Guido's shoulder.
Guido sort of frozen, almost not expecting him to shoot that early. Didn't really get up on the ball. And 11-10 now the score.
You take a player like that, you say, yeah, but he's only Division III. I wonder if he could ever make it in the fast lane. That proves that he can.
Absolutely.
You know, he just won't put one past the goalie of the year. Division III versus Division I. They don't have to take a back step to anybody.
I think especially at those programs, Washington College, Hobart, they may lack in the depth. They don't have players 3 or 4 deep, but they certainly have frontline players that can play in any of the great programs.
In addition to that, Holmes was named to the academic All-American team today at the banquet as well.
Tremendous program. Score 11-10. South still leads. 4 minutes left to go in the third period, and the offense really getting uncranked. The Gate boys, a few between-the-leg shots, and Roy Simmons Jr., do you expect anything ultra-dramatic for this last show?
I don't want them to hurt the team because they feel that the public and the media has put a lot of pressure on them here. Whoa. What a great combination. You know, can you imagine if that kid had come to Syracuse like he originally had planned?
That's John Reese.
Pretty scary.
Hard shot. That's his textbook shot for John Reese. Just the cannon shot. Teddy, we've seen it at least twice tonight where he hits it about an inch under the pipe.
Well, here comes Paul bringing the ball down, and he makes a good look here, but John Reese really makes the play. Feeds a little bit low. He comes up with it across the body and lets it fly. As you say, textbook Reese.
And when he puts that shot on the money, really nothing the goalie can say about it unless John accidentally hits him in the face mask. And he puts his whole body into it, Roy. He really lays his whole body into it. Very strong.
The kid's really put together. You know, he's a linebacker for Yale, and a captain, 113th captain at Yale this year. Just a hard-nosed kid, and he has bad hearing. You know, he sacrificed himself. Look at these kids go after ground balls, and look how they draw the flack.
That's Gary Gate right there trying to get it. Score 11-11, by the way. That tied it up. The goal by John Reese on that marquee midfield.
I'm saying, I hope Gary and Paul don't think that they have to do too much here in the way of sensationalism just because the public is billing him and using him and advertising him. I hope they don't feel like they have to do things that they would normally do.
Gary Gate right there with a nice little roll dodge comes in for the right-handed shot. Now that is absolutely
well, people say they're
special.
left, they're all left, and some people say, thank God they're all left. But they'll go right-handed if they're forced into it as they were here. They played this strong on the left side. He beat the first man, he beat the second man. Rather than come back into the defensive stick, he took it with his right hand, very little angle. His stick was actually in the wrong hand for that angle, but he put it in the offside.
Here you go, Teddy.
Here he comes, he's left. They're playing him left, and he's going to roll. He's going to draw some more flack here. He knows if he comes back, he's going to come into that strength. Right-handed, he's flat. He really should flatter than you might think with the stick.
Puts it in. That's the first lead of the game, I think, by the North team, Teddy, 12-11.
Absolutely. Reese comes up with a face-off.
This is going to be, if Paul and Gary don't think that they have to put a show on here, if they play just good, solid lacrosse that they play so well. And Reese has taken a lot of pressure off him tonight. It's a great combination. Some people say we'll split the midfield up, but you know you'll never have 3 guys to watch 3 guys like this defensively. So you're going to come up and control the ball as they're doing right now.
Behind the back pass, collected deep inside, and Gary tries to get the shot off. Chris Bates tried to get it back into Gary, and here comes Rinaldi showing some of his own skills behind the back, and it's contagious, Roy. I'm sure you've seen it in your practices.
It is, you know. And Greg is a great friend of Gary and Paul's, and he's a Syracusan, and he's saying, hey, I can do it too, and I'm sure he can. You know, it's tough to play with these kids. You got to be on your toes all the time when you're an offensive player because you don't know when you're going to get the ball back from them.
I'll tell you what, they packed the house tonight. Gary goes down, hopefully all right, slipped on the AstroTurf.
It's still wet on the surface, on the edges out here, and this rain stayed off and left the stick skills intact.
Well, the Gate boys are the heroes of lacrosse coast to coast, but don't tell that to any of the local people because right across the way in Loyola, they have their own All-America player, Brian Kronberger.
That's right, Leif. Brian Kronberger played college lacrosse just down Charles Street at Loyola College, and tremendous amount of pride at Loyola. You guys made the finals losing to Syracuse. The program really coming on, though, Loyola.
Yeah, we've come a long way in the past 4 years. 4 years ago, we lost to UMBC, put us out of the playoffs, and we've been struggling ever since. But we've put in a lot of hard work, and I think we've got the program to where it's going to be in a championship game year in and year out.
What was it like playing in the championship game for you?
Oh, it was a thrill playing in front of all the fans and playing against a great team, Syracuse. We kind of took the game for our team to the next level, which we hadn't seen before.
Okay, Brian Kronberger of Loyola, of course, Loyola coming off a very successful year in which they made the NCAA finals.
All right, Dave, thanks very much. 2 minutes to go, 12-11 the score. The North with their first lead. And Ted, looks like they have a chance to make it a little bit bigger.
As I said earlier, this is not the position that the South goalie wants to be in. We're going up against the extra man of the North team with the Gates and the other players, Reese and so forth out there.
It's a loaded offense, and they start now sliding around from a 3-3 into a 1-3-2, counting from behind the goal. Paul goes behind the back to Gary. Gary comes in, pulls it back for the left-hand shot, and that easy beats John Wiseman. Roy, it was more of a one-on-one move, not textbook-wise, fundamentally, what you like to see an extra man. Don't go one-on-one, but he is so skilled. You give him an alley, you give him some green space, and you feel like he can beat him.
Well, as I say, they're expected to do a lot tonight. These kids, you know, they came in Thursday. They didn't even get a chance to practice with the North squad. They were doing clinics. They were doing autographs. They were being interviewed on television and radio. And so they really haven't had a lot of chance to practice here today or yesterday, man up. But there's a great pass. And he likes his left hand. He comes back. He takes a lot of late shots like that. He's durable. He knows it's coming. He's forgiving, and he's going to punish you, though, in a man-up situation.
All right, here we go. The Subaru Illustrator. We'll go ahead and roll forward a little bit and get him in the picture. Watch the move he makes as he comes in. Paul will go behind the back, get it right back to Gary. Gary comes in. Stop right there. He'll come back with the left side. This is where he protects the stick on this side and roll it on. He's going to have to come back right there. Backside, hold up. The hit comes in from this side. He finally pulled back from the right hand. He never let go of the left-handed way he had the stick, so he was going to come back eventually. He finally did and put it right back to the far pipe. Only a move that the Gate boys can do with such regularity, such predictability, but with such great effectiveness.
Well, it's hard to defense against. You know, you play against your own teammates all week long, and you don't ever defense against anything like that. When it comes, you're really not prepared for it.
They protect the stick so beautifully. Like that particular time, Gary never left his left hand, but he protected the stick beautifully and got the goal. 13-11. Here they come in for a hard shot by the South, and the South was right back into it. Bob Martino, I'm sorry, from Washington College. And we talk about the Division III, Roy and Ted, and that's where Division III is really showing their talent right there.
Well, I think they really relish the ability to be out here on the same field with these guys to show that they can compete. It's a good look from Rinaldi to Martino down the middle, and he's not going to miss this opportunity.
Brings his team back to within 13-12. And another midfield. It seemed like the Reese Gate midfield was out there for a long time, Roy. They spent a lot of minutes.
Yeah, they were out there on a run, and then shortly after they came off, they were put on for a man-up situation, so they're out again.
We've got Paul Gate down below. Dave Johnson, let's go visit him.
Well, Leith, this is not a repeat interview. Paul Gate is with me, of course, his brother Gary Gate. Those two are identical twins, and I guess your brother Gary known as the goal scorer, you as the assist man, but what are the other differences between you two?
Well, Gary likes to work a little closer to the net. Let's get it around the crease and, get the odd slam or whatever, I like to take the outside shot, draw and dump a lot more. Draw the man, draw the double team, pass it off, whether behind the back or regular.
Product endorsements usually reserved for basketball and football players, but you and your brother will be involved with STX. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Oh, definitely. It's the first time it's happened in lacrosse, and I think it's going to be good for the game. Hopefully it'll start a trend so some other upcoming players in the future will have the same opportunities we have.
Yeah, that's Paul Gate. He and his brother Gary, they've kind of set a precedent in the sport of lacrosse.
Dave, I don't know about precedent. I think they've set some lofty goals or something. I don't know if it'll ever be. What do you think, Roy? It's going to be tough to match up the combo. Two identical twins with such great talent.
Well, sure. To find twins, they have Magic Johnson and his brother on one team is tough. But, the boys feel the game's given them a lot, and they want to give back to the game. Sure, it might be a job, but other than a job, they want to give back to the game that's treated them so well. They want to spend time with kids. They want to spend time with product development. They want to help the game develop. And what better chance than to work for a lacrosse manufacturer?
Our thanks to Roy Simmons Jr. for joining us for the third quarter. We've got one more quarter to go. The score 13-12. The North squad now with a lead. 15 minutes to go. Still a lot of showtime. Stay with us. The United States Collegiate All-Star Game.
A little brains, a little luck, and a lot of late nights. A good family, a good spot, and some good advice. That's the way it's supposed to be. And USF&G is standing behind me. That's the way it's supposed to be. And USF&G is standing behind me.
something new coming to you from Budweiser. Something completely new. It's completely different and completely refreshing. Introducing Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So if you're looking for smooth draft taste and no aftertaste, try Bud Dry.
See the NBA stars of the future when the best high school players from 8 cities across the U.S. gather in Boston for the 1990 Boston Shootout. On June 22nd and 23rd, the action takes place at Boston University's Walter Brown Arena. Then on Sunday, June 24th, the Boston Garden is the site of the championship game. NBA greats Jamar Wilkes, Nate Archibald, and Ernie DiGregorio are just some of the people who'll be coaching these future All-Stars. That's the 1990 Boston Shootout, June 22nd through the 24th, a weekend of great basketball you won't want to miss. We're back at Homewood Field for the last 15 minutes of the 1990 season. These are the best college players that will be graduating this year, and they're here to showcase their skills, North against the South. And maybe one of the most star-studded lineups that lacrosse has ever seen. North taking a 1-goal lead, 13-12, and now they come up with a quick face-off, pushing it right down the field, trying to get a shot off, but checked from behind. Richard Baruch made the check, and bringing the ball down was Rich Toohey from Brown. All right, Dave Johnson has another guest for us.
That's right, Lee. With me is John Demento from Air Force, the Air Force Academy, the Falcons. You play a lot of the Western schools in lacrosse. What is the program like west of the Mississippi?
Right now it's kind of building up. A lot of teams are picking up high school programs, getting a little better.
What type of teams do you play out west?
We play like Colorado College. We come out here for one Eastern trip a year, and then spring break we play a couple Eastern schools too, so it's not too bad.
Do you kind of feel like pioneers out there?
A little bit. You know, we're trying to spread the word, get lacrosse going all over the place. So.
What's up next for you?
Going on to pilot training, advanced Oklahoma.
Okay, there he is, Top Gun John Demento.
All right.
Well, John Demento, Leaf, had an excellent career out there at Air Force this year. He was named to the Honorable Mention All-American team. Had 71 goals this year and 91 points overall. Obviously a talented player.
And let me tell you something. Colorado has their own little hotbed. They have excellent lacrosse programs out there in high school, and they put out some very, very high-quality players.
Absolutely. One of the people that they've gotten to be an advocate of lacrosse out there is Denver Bronco coach Dan Reeves.
He's got some kids playing, doesn't he?
Very big lacrosse fan.
And that's what you need when you're looking for that, again, that marquee value. This game really showcasing the best in the sport. Right after this, you can't enjoy it, but the people here can. The USA team. They'll be in Australia in July, playing against England, Canada, and Australia. And they'll be playing tonight in an exhibition. But right now, the North trying to get back on top. They had a 2-goal lead. The South scored twice to tie the game at 13. 12 minutes left. Plenty of time for heroics. The gate midfield's on there. Being shut off, though, pretty effectively right now by the South. And there's a flag.
It's a foul by Joe Bresci. It's unusual for Joe. Joe started 3 years for Carolina, only had 18 penalty minutes in all that time of playing.
One of those special take-charge defensive players, a little bit like Dave Petramala, who was so effective for Hopkins graduating last year. I think Petramala cut his own niche as far as being a high-quality player, and Brecci maybe just a little bit below him, but certainly very, very, very good.
I think Petramala is still cutting his own niche. He's been an absolute dominant force. He led Mount Washington to the club championship last night. They expect big things out of him this summer down in Perth. I know he'll be matching up against the Gate brothers.
Well, we didn't talk to Roy about that, but if there's one guy that Gary doesn't feel comfortable playing against, it's Petramala. Think of that move right there, though, by Gary Gates. Sensational talent. But Dave Petramala, really, I have to agree with you. He has sold me. He is a very exceptional player. He's tall, too, like 6'4". He's got great size, but tremendous ability.
And great range. It's rare that you see a defensive player that not just dominates the defensive end of the field and his man, but dominates the game. He can control the game from a defensive position.
Ball on the side. Bounces right off his offensive player. I think that ricocheted right off of number 8, David Charetz, down close on the crease. You know, and many people think that was Hopkins, and it had to be a big factor with Hopkins' year this year, going almost winning the national championship last year, and then this year 6-4. the absence of Dave Petramala, who controlled not only the defensive end of the field, but the offensive end of the field, if you can do that from his position. Well, he certainly did.
There's no question about that. I mean, Petramala won the Enners Award last year as the outstanding player in the country with his team not winning the national championship. That says something for the respect that he gained from all the coaches and teams that he faced.
Another program that's there year in and year out. Let's see if we get a shot here. Is the great program from Hobart. And Dave Johnson has a guest from that great program.
That's right, Mike DeMaria from Hobart, also from the Fayetteville-Manlius area outside of Syracuse, and that area well represented, along with Mike, also Greg Rinaldi and Brian Keith from the Fayetteville-Manlius area. But Hobart, 11 straight titles. How does the school react to that? Must be a tremendous spirit surrounding the lacrosse program.
Well, it's really great. I mean, we're less than 2,000 people, and everybody's behind you. We have a great coach and a great tradition going on. I mean, everybody from the equipment manager to the ball boys, everybody's behind you.
So it's kind of the marquee sport, I guess, at Hobart.
Oh, definitely.
You're going to get to go to the White House for winning the Division III championship again, along with Syracuse for winning the Division I. That's got to be tremendous. So, do you ever think that would happen, being a Division III lacrosse player?
Well, they're thinking about doing it last year when we won 10. But this year, we're going to be there. We're going to get in there, and George is going to be a great guy, hopefully.
You going to try to teach him anything?
Yeah, I'll teach him behind the backer.
Okay, Mike DeMaria is going to be giving President George Bush a clinic at the White House.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, Bush gets his own inside scoops because Dan Quayle's kids play the sport, Teddy, and he's at a lot of the games in the area. He's got kids playing in high school programs in the Maryland area. An advocate of the game of lacrosse is Dan Quayle.
Absolutely. He sent one of his kids to Donnie Zimmerman's summer camp last year. There's another shot by Reese.
John Reese for that hard banger from outside. That time he fooled the goalie possibly. He went low with that shot. And if you have the same velocity, very tough to save.
I think that shot had to have been somewhat screened. It was about knee height, driving to his right, actually losing his angle as he drives right. Lets it fly, though, and gets past Linthicum.
And again, you see the way he lunges his body into the shot. He really puts as much of his body behind the shot as anybody I've seen in the game, Division I lacrosse. Helps for that extra velocity, but makes it very tough for the goalie to make the saves. John Reese puts the North up again by 1, 14-13. There he is. That's his own critique. That shot stunk. Intimidating player, John Reese from Yale. He, like Gary and Paul, Ted, has had every defense in the book thrown against him.
Oh, there's a nice shot by Cognato. He's having a super game tonight for the North.
Kid from UMass, so you talk about hotbed, that New England area, they'll be putting up a little fight for bragging rights to being a hotbed of the game itself.
It'll be interesting to see who goes up there to coach next year, Leif. Dick Garber, after 30-some years, is retiring. One of the positions that will be opening up this year. It's a program with a lot of tradition and history. It'll be interesting to see who takes that job.
Ron Condignato, third goal tonight. Looked like North jumped a little bit. They didn't get called for it, and here comes the face-off, won by the South. David Dyson had it, and then, of course, lost it. Dyson looking very strong in the face-offs.
I'm impressed with Dyson. I've never seen him play before. He's a strong player.
The North now with a 1-goal, 2-goal lead, 15-13, 9:15 left in the game. Hard to believe there's another exhibition after this. The world team plays. Great weekend of lacrosse here put on by the Lacrosse Foundation in the name of the Hall of Fame Lacrosse Classic. The North now gets a chance to take a little bit of air out of the ball and work it around and get up some good shots. Hard shot from out front.
Toohey.
And Toohey from Brown really puts the ball on the money, and it looks like David Linthicum's having trouble with that low, hard shot. He's let a couple of them go in that very same way.
Seems like he's just a moment late in reacting. I don't know whether he's freezing, if he's getting a little nervous or what. But you're right, a couple of these shots that maybe shouldn't be getting by him are. Once again, it's just like the shot that Reese took. He was driving right. It almost lost a good deal of his angle, and yet he still manages to get it in there. Toohey, however, is an excellent shooter. Mentioned before, I had for Brown this year, 38 goals. Excellent player.
Omar Brown facing off for the North, and I think still for the South. David Dyson in there, who's done such a great job. Coming up with the ball, Tom Corcoran from Ithaca. everybody starts looking like the Gates, but they're all taking on those same moves. And now the whole team, Ted, going low. They are really starting to read Linthicum and seeing maybe a weakness.
They must know something.
8:32 left in the game. Leif Elsmo along with Ted Bauer on the field. Dave Johnson, as we bring you the U.S. Collegiate All-Star Game. These guys are the best graduating players in the sport of lacrosse. North pushes it in. They've got a 3-goal lead now. That's their biggest lead of the game. They were really behind all the way through into the third period.
Jeff Ray putting a hit on David Linthicum.
That's another interesting thing we didn't talk to Roy about, but his boys really know how to take a hit. They just don't have the demeanor to apply hits. Kind of interesting combination.
Now move your ear,
Ball being pushed around, the offense getting set up, and why they get that all set up, we can look down and see that Dave Johnson is getting ready to introduce us to Vince Angotti from Cornell.
That's right, Leif. Vince Angotti from Cornell and also from the Baltimore area. And we've been talking about lacrosse hotbeds. And certainly growing up in Baltimore, I guess lacrosse thrown right at you.
Yeah, it was thrown right at me. But I tell you, I like playing up north, too. I miss Baltimore a little bit just because all the guys I grew up with, most of them stay down here. A lot of them don't go north. So I miss it a little bit. The high schools down here are great. I really love playing for them. But I like playing up north except for the cold weather. I miss the Baltimore weather a little bit. A lot.
Yeah, those warm Baltimore winters.
Oh, man. Like Ithaca.
Cornell is got kind of a lacrosse tradition. How does the school react to it up there?
Oh, the fans are great. I tell you, the weather is so cold, but we still get a lot of fans out there. Coach Moran, everyone up there loves Coach Moran. A lot of it circulates around him. He's been there so long. So we got a strong following up there, and really the school is the town. So they're really supportive of the program up there. It's really nice. Everyone comes out to the game. So
often asked question, but to play in a game like this, what's it like for a player?
Oh God, this is incredible. I got the chance to play it in high school. Now in college, it's such a different story with the Gates and all them. You know, it's incredible. So it's fun. I'm glad I got the honor to do it.
Vince Angotti, you're like a lot of players enjoying his evening here at the Lacrosse Classic.
Thanks a lot.
7:18 left. 3-goal lead by the North. The South controls. And that ball way behind. Teddy, what do you see the South and Zimmerman having to do with 7 minutes left? They really haven't gotten back into their game in the second half.
Well, they have to be careful about turning the ball over here. They can't take shots without backups. They can't be throwing the ball away on clears. They can't have any sort of unforced errors. They have to take advantage of each time they get the ball, because being down by 3 goals, obviously they've got some ground to make up. And needless to say, I doubt we've heard the last from the North team. I also think that they got to get some good goalie play out of David Linthicum here down the stretch.
A lot of motion out of the crease. That's what you saw when they were effective in the first half. Ball being controlled from behind. The South down by 3. North really taking charge late, about the last third of the game.
Nice save by Guido.
Guido coming up very big, and here they go. This is Gary Gate. His brother Paul to the left of him, just running over his defenseman, coming in, still has the ball, shovels it off to the side wing. What a play, and Rob Cotignato really couldn't handle it. That, I think, is a good example of Cotignato sort of frozen by the motion of Gary Gate coming down and really not being in good position or expecting the ball to get to him.
Absolutely. He was not quite prepared for it. Incredible move by Gate. Left his defender right on the field.
Just running over the defense. Power that you just don't see in the game.
Here goes Gate. Here's Rinaldi trying to defense him. Trying to turn him back, checks back with his left hand, and Gate basically just turning him around and running right over him.
Gary Gate built like a tight end, 6'2", 200 pounds.
Double the ball, the goalkeeper. All right.
There you go. Then Gate looks off to Cotignato. A little bit high. It's a feed, and the check gets on him a little bit, looks like, and he shoots high.
So Cotignato picked it up.
Who's ever playing the ball, you double it. Everybody else, shut off a man. All right, you got a man, you shut him off.
Looking at Donnie Zimmerman there.
Right, listen now. Don't let him get in between you. If he runs one way, you got to turn him back into the goalkeeper, all right? And play the ball. If the ball goes down, don't play the ball after that. Make them play it. All right, if they get around you, David gets in and we're back in our regular defense, all right?
Weak side.
Huh? Weak side. Here we go, Ellis. We got it. Come on. Come here. Let's go bring it in, Randy. All right, come on, Dave. If we get the ball, let's make sure that we keep control it and bring it down and take a good opportunity against one of their short sticks. 1, 2, 3, go South.
You see the intensity there, Donnie Zimmerman. He's he's never out. He's always thinking and pushing his team. As you heard him there, he said, if you get the ball back, don't lose it. Don't turn it over. Let's get it down there and get the good shot.
He has a sensational record as a coach. Was weaned right here there by the Hopkins system, and then took over the Hopkins system. And until this year, really nothing but great things happening in the program. This is one of the small off years that most teams would be pretty proud of into the playoffs.
Gate coming around. He's going for a semi-air gate there.
Here's
reach
John
for the ball.
Reese, left-handed, didn't get past the defenseman, bounced off him. Reese showing he can go left. The Gates showed tonight they can go right. I wouldn't doubt that was a little personal statement that they wanted to make being here, because there's thought of as being one-handed the other way. They probably made it a point to themselves to go to show that they could shoot with the offhand.
Here comes the South. This is an opportunity they got to cash in on. And
Hard
they do.
shot, and a banger goes in. M.G. Hollingsworth from Rutgers. Or was it 8? Yeah, it was Hollingsworth. Rutgers, the hosts. School
nice
for
shot
the
here.
Division
It's a
I
good clear. They're using their legs, getting the ball field, passing off, and got Zurich bringing the ball down. Looks off to Hollingsworth, and he gets it by.
So Hollingsworth really set that play up as he came down the field. And here you'll see it. This is a textbook play. The fast break starts down. Here's the alley, the whole alley down here. He's going to look to the right side for the right-handed shot. That's what he wants. And he comes right down. The defense doesn't pick him up. Go ahead and roll it. He'll come right down the throat. Actually, he's in here. This is him here. He'll come in, stop right there, because he's looking here for the right-handed shot if he can get it. These two defensemen, look how intensely they're looking over this way. Go ahead. He'll see the man. He does feed the right. As soon as the defenseman goes, and now stop there, because the hard bounce shot came in, goes in. That's the goal.
Got Brian Kronberger coming right down the pipe and bangs it high. Had great defense at the other end by the South. Linthicum came up with the ball, cleared it out over the top to Kronberger. He brought it right down the pipe.
Brings his team back to within 2. 5:41 left, and the local hero, Brian Kronberger, scores a goal. Back to within 1, 16-15.
This is what I'm talking about. He comes down here. They've got to take these opportunities and cash in on him. Kronberger does just that, looks off to the one side and takes it high, makes a nice shot. Guido can't get there.
And Guido rattled a little bit with the fast motion of that offense from the South. Kronberger on the wing now, going back in there. Zimmerman likes this midfield. He wants to keep him in there.
Steve Huff up with the ball.
Here he comes
Kronberger again.
Ryan's very strong. He comes forcing himself in. Pretty good position. 1 goal down. This is the kind of situation that Don Zimmerman almost loves. 1 goal down.
They've got a
with
short
the ball.
stick against Brian Keith. It's a nice shot, just wide.
Just missed the 6x6, but they keep possession. Backed up beautifully by Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth going against number 24, Chris Bentley from Harvard. That's the matchup when they out of bounds.
Bentley, a good defenseman in his own right, 13 All-American this year.
Comes up top from Kronberger. This is a pretty intense time for the South. They've got to get this one in to tie the game. Kronberger really warding off and getting away with it.
It's a nice juke back.
And Guido with a sensational save. The ball out. And as they sort things out with a penalty, it'll be an extra man for the South. Let's go down to Dave Johnson.
Okay, leave with me a second-team All-American Bill Ralph, defenseman from the University of Maryland. And Bill, this may be an all-star game. You can definitely tell the competitive fire is really starting to heat up.
Hey, you sure can. I mean, we're down by 3 about a minute ago, and now we're only down by 1. You know, they're doing good. Everybody's really hustling. We'd like to win if we can. North's been beating us, 4 or 5 years straight now.
All right, for a defenseman, you've got John Reese on the other side of the field, the Gate brothers. What goes through your mind when you've got to face those guys all night?
Nothing really. I mean, it's a challenge because they're such great players, but that's why everyone's here to live up to those challenges and just try and do your best. Really, I mean, it's fun going against people that you always hear about but never get the chance to play.
Bill Ralph from the University of Maryland is all fired up because the South is trying to mount a comeback.
He was a tremendous defenseman, and we saw him go against Gary early on. He really gave him a lot of trouble, but then Gary sort of got mad and tied him up. But Bill Ralph, a leader on the Maryland team, and certainly one of their best defensemen ever to come out of that program.
Excellent player. He was first-team All-American last year in 1989. This year was a second-team choice.
The South now still extra, 6 against 5. They have a chance to tie the game. Tony Guido, a lot of pressure on him in the goal. South with a lot of motion, getting into different formations, and Guido takes the shot and saves it. Not a great shot by Kronberger.
No, a little bit outside to take a high shot like that, particularly stick side.
Whistle blows.
Offside on White.
Offside, so Red will get it back. Red being the South team, they're 1 goal down with 4 minutes left. This is an extra man situation. They can tie the game right here. They should be able to select a high quality shot and put some pressure on Tony Guido.
Let's go, deep.
Don't be surprised if they don't look inside here to Rinaldi on this.
Rinaldi on the crease. There's Kronberger again with a hard shot out high. And again, that was better than the last one, but Teddy, maybe not the shot that you're really designing to get in this particular.
He can take that shot all even. He doesn't need to take that on extra man. There's a Rinaldi.
Backdoor, excellent shot, but a sensational save by Guido. An unbelievable save to keep his team with a 1-goal lead.
Josh Dennis loses the ball in the lights, it looks like. Comes up with it.
Guido, really, I don't understand how he made that save. Maybe the best save of the night, certainly the biggest. Teams at even strength. I thought it was a goal, but it was not. Of course, the crowd cheering. Brian Keith came around, didn't quite clear the plane of the goal, hit the net on the back side. 3:21 left. That was their golden opportunity, Ted. North now with the clock on their side. Timeout called by White. That's the North squad. They've got the ball on a 1-goal lead. They really dodged the bullet. Tony Guido came up huge in that series. Let's go down, and we're going to spend a moment with Dave Johnson. He's down there talking to one of the great players from the Ivy Leagues who have had such a sensational season as a group. The Ivy League's very strong this year.
That's right, John Kenny from Princeton. And for John, it must be nice to be back here at Homewood Field because you guys had a memorable victory over Hopkins in the playoff here.
It's a good time coming back, and this time I get to play with those boys, you know, like Quinn Kesnick and Pete Tomaso, and, you know, they're good guys. This place it's a good spot.
Ended up losing to Yale, though, in the playoffs. I guess that's an example of just the way Ivy League lacrosse has come about. 2 Ivy League teams battling for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then Brown was up at Syracuse playing that same day, and I was looking at the All-American roster. You know, 3 guys from Yale on the first team. Just a lot of guys from the Ivy League on the All-American ballot. So.
What about this weekend for a player? Do you make a lot of friendships here?
Yeah, it's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity to come down and, you know, meet guys that you play against all year long and mix it up with them a little bit and find out that they're not, you know, the enemy. They're really good guys, and, you know, it's a good time to get to know them.
Okay, John Kenny from Princeton University.
Thank you, Dave. Of course, he talks about the camaraderie, Ted Bauer, and camaraderie, a big part of the sport. You should know Mount Washington Tavern right here in Baltimore, one of the big hangout spots, a great restaurant and bar, but a lot of lacrosse players go there. You like that crowd, you're part of that crowd, and these guys really stick together.
They do. It's something that we find very enjoyable in our business. That it's a nice group of people. You meet a lot of nice new people each year. Get to keep in touch with the young kids coming out of college and so forth, and their parents. You know, it's a good target area and target audience for us.
You got the Gate Boys going down to the tavern to sign a few autographs.
They've been there before. They've frequented the tavern when they've been in town for the Classic and so forth.
3 minutes left, counting down over the back shot. 1-goal lead by the team in white. That's the North squad. The number 1 marquee midfield's on there, the Gate brothers and John Reese.
Hey, same thing! Same thing!
Look at Don Zimmerman. I tell you what, they should suit him up playing out there. I bet you he would be.
He's ferocious, isn't he?
Tremendous yet. John Reese now going one-on-one. Double teamed.
Not the check you want on John Reese.
And the Gate boys get the ball in. Paul Gate drew some attention, but he dished it off down low. Bill O'Hanlon from Cornell, and that puts a little bit of icing on the cake. A 2-goal lead with 2:37 left.
Here's Reese. You see him driving right. An ill-advised check by Kronberger here, going over the head with the butt end. Reese, nice look, throws back, and Paul Gate's going to find O'Hanlon down there off the corner of the crease, and he just puts it by off stick, or sticks offside.
Really where the game, or the play fell apart up top there, Ted.
That's right.
The defenseman for Paul slid off on the offensive player. That left Paul open, and then when the ball came back to him, the whole defense went to Paul, which left O'Hanlon open.
Absolutely. You don't want to take any sort of impact player like that and try to take the ball away out front like that. Just play position on him.
2:30 left. 2-goal lead now for the North. The pressure really on the South, and Guido really coming up strong the last 5 minutes. He looks near impossible to beat. Schmaltz will take the ball as he comes in fresh after the faceoff. Comes in, beats John Reese. Bounce pass to the far side. It's Josh Dennis way in front of the goal, and the North bats it around. Dennis now picks it up, looking for help. Dennis one-arms it. Ragged by Paul Gate. Paul Gate through 2 players. Here he comes. This might be his last shot of the game of his college career. Holds it up, takes an underhand shot, and only because he missed the goal, was it not a goal? What a tremendous way to move the ball downfield.
It's amazing what they do with those sticks.
It goes through 1 player, 2 player, and can take over the game seemingly either of the Gates boys any moment. Ted's looking at me with an MVP vote in his hand, and I don't know who to pick. All these guys are so great. Paul Gate backside. 1:45 left. Let's talk about it. Ted, who do you think is the MVP caliber?
Well, I think O'Hanlon has played very well on the attack for the North squad. Certainly the Gates, both Gates and Reese are the impact players and have played a tremendous game.
I think Hanlon has had a good game. I think he's been the benefit of some excellent play out front.
No doubt about it. He's been a finisher. The other guy for the North that's looked strong is Cognato from Massachusetts.
So we will think about that MVP vote with 1:19 left, a 2-goal lead for the North. That's about all that's left to think about. It's been a great exhibition of lacrosse with 1:19 left. And as you might expect, just tough to single out one guy. That's really not what this game's all about, singling out a player. They do it for ceremonial purposes really only, and these players are also...
It's the Jay Stranahan Award, I believe it is, for the MVP of this North-South game.
Everybody else playing their man tough.
Let's go into the Zimmerman huddle. This is his last chance.
Remember, if he does get in to the box area, now get up on him and try to get him back out of the box area. So we got 2 ways that we can get the ball back. All right, if we get the ball, we got plenty of time. That last time we forced the clear. We got plenty of time. Let's bring it up. Let's try to go to the goal. We're out of timeouts now. So if the ball goes out of bounds, don't expect any help. We got to take a one-on-one and look to get something there. All right, here we go now. Let's go, Rick. Come on, Rick. Let's get back. Ready? 1, 2, 3, goes out.
So Zimmerman's still very much in the game. 1:19 left with 2 goals down. He's got to do some pretty aggressive coaching to get back in the game. And Ted, we haven't really focused on the numbers because, again, that's not what this game's all about. We've got the score sheet in front of us. Any big numbers pop out? Give you a minute to take a look at that.
Rinaldi, it seems, has played a nice game for the South in terms of at least numbers. Kronberger has a couple goals. It seems, though, that we really should be looking more towards the Northern team, given the fact with 1:19 they're up by 2 goals.
Dave, quick interview with Dave Giannone down there, the goalie of the first half for the North.
That's right, and Dave, this is the first time he's got his helmet off all game. Even though you went out at halftime, you kept the helmet on. Is that just habit?
Yeah, it's just habit. Played the first half, and I just kept it on. I wasn't really thinking about it.
What about playing in the first half? Was it a disadvantage not really knowing your defenders?
Sure, yeah, a little miscommunication at times. We were 1-0, and not much I could do, but yeah, sure it is a disadvantage.
Okay, Dave Giannone, man the cage in the first half for the North.
Meanwhile, Rob Condignato from UMass gets another goal.
I believe
really
that's
ices it for the North.
See, he eludes his man behind, just comes around.
Look at the double
pulls
team.
the stick
triple
nicely,
team.
checking it, and drops it. I believe that's his 4th goal. I think in the scoring right now, we've got John Reese has 4 goals, Cognato has 4 goals, Paul Gate has 3 goals and 2 assists, and Gary Gate has 2 goals and 3 assists.
What was that last one again? Yeah, Gate. What are the 2 Gates?
There, Paul is 3 and 2, and Gary is 2 and 3.
Well, less than a minute to go. The pressure's on us, Ted. We got to pick one. We are a contributing vote, not the last word in this ballot for the MVP. I'll tell you what, I don't know, hard to say. The offense gets spread around. They're all such great players. You know who else hasn't had a bad game is Mr. Tony Guido. In the 4th quarter, Absolutely. He really shut the door. And, Tony Guido would have to be right there for my vote. I don't know. He really shut the door and kept that team in there as the offense went to work. Shot from behind, 14 seconds left. 3-goal lead for this team from the North. They were behind most of the game into the third quarter, and it was late before they took the lead. I guess it'd be hard for me not to go with one of the Gates boys. It just seems like they can score anytime they want. They've worked so hard to be the marquee players that they have turned out to be. 9 seconds is just counting down. That'll be the end of this contest. And that'll do it. No, that'll do the score. 4 seconds left. Still 4 seconds left.
David Dyson.
Dyson scores.
Roanoke.
And there's still 4 seconds on the clock. So Dyson, he's had a nice little game from the faceoff. Each guy has contributed, really. So many of them have contributed in their own areas. And here's Dyson with his move.
Yep, pulls the stick nicely, jumps, lets it fly high.
And that takes Guido out of my vote. Let that one go in. That was, he should have had that high shot. Dave Dyson. Very steady game tonight.
Absolutely impressed with Dyson from Roanoke College.
4 seconds left. This will be a ceremonial face-off. 3-2-1, and that's it. The North wins 18-16. 34 goals scored, and just a nice show. Don Zimmerman applauds his team as he comes off the sideline. The intensity now gone. He's done his job. His team loses by 2, but he knows there's a bigger thing to be had from this game. This is an exhibition of the greatest talent in the collegiate ranks that are graduating this year.
It's been a tall order to have walked away from this game knowing that you beat the Gate brothers and John Reese and all that offensive talent the Northern squad had. I think it was just a matter of time before they started to wear the South down, and that along with the fact that Tony Guido's first-team All-American goalie played the second half for the North, I think that was the difference.
That about sums it up. We'll be back with our closing comments. Hopefully a quick interview, maybe with the MVP. Stick with us as we close out our 1990 coverage of the U.S. Collegiate All-Star Game from Homewood Field in Baltimore, Maryland. Once again, 18-16. North wins it. Stay with us, though. We're going to try to get that MVP interview.
Before STX, lacrosse historically looked like this. Because of STX, lacrosse now looks like this. When it's your turn to make lacrosse history, do it with the original and best equipment in the game, STX.
You rely on them to get you through some of the worst weather Mother Nature can dish out. And their sure-footed traction is always a welcome addition in rain and snow. Their durability is legendary, and they continually rank high in customer satisfaction. Shouldn't you demand as much from the car you drive? Test drive a Subaru today.
Factory-to-dealer cash incentives on selected models to qualifying dealers means you could save hundreds on a Subaru.
Swing into the 90s with the Boston Red Sox. Plenty of exciting baseball action awaits you at Fenway Park, so order your tickets today. Call the direct charge line at 267-1700 or group sales at 262-1915 and use your MasterCard or Visa. If you prefer to purchase your tickets in person, visit the Red Sox ticket office at Fenway Park or stop by the Red Sox Clubhouse store in the Burlington Mall. Whichever method you choose, be sure to act early. Tickets are selling quickly.
Well, there's the final. The North wins 18-16. They had to come from behind to do it. One of the big reasons, the play of John Reese. He's the most valuable player of this 1990 North-South contest. Dave Johnson?
Well, Leaf, maybe you should save the bandana. John, what does this award mean to you? Kind of overshadowed in the publicity department now to get recognized in this All-Star Classic.
It was just an incredible weekend to be a part of, and to play with these guys was phenomenal. And to receive an award like this, I'm speechless. It's just been fantastic. I felt blessed to be down here in the first place And, you know, it's just hard work, and I'm glad it paid off, and, you know, I'm just ecstatic right now.
Well, congratulations. Best of luck in the future.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's
winning coach. All right, Dave Johnson, any closing comments as we wrap up our competition here from Homewood Field?
Well, Leaf, it just was fun to be down here on the sidelines and be with these great athletes, and really it did get competitive toward the second half. You could definitely tell as you brought some of the players over that they really wanted to win this thing.
All right, well, we thank you for your fine work on the sidelines. Dave Johnson from WTOP Radio in the great city of Washington, D.C. Teddy Bauer, your final thoughts.
Well, as I said before, I think the matchup was really the talent of the North versus the coaching of the South, and I think the talent of the North finally wore the South down. I think the South made a valiant effort, had some great play of their own, but the North was just a little bit too tough.
Well, that'll wrap it up from Homewood Field in Baltimore, Maryland. Once again, the final score: the North wins the 1990 U.S. Collegiate All-Star Game 18-16. The MVP, John Reese, first-team All-America from Yale. Tonight's game is brought to you by Subaru and the Subaru Legacy, the official car of the 1990 Hall of Fame Lacrosse Classic, the Subaru Legacy. By U.S. F&G, great insurance coverage for business, home, auto, and life. By Bud Dry. By SCX, the original and best name in the game. By Maryland National Bank, we want you to grow. And by the C. Markland Kelly Jr. Memorial Foundation.